Testing. Are we live?
Yeah.
That seems a little loud. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna tweet out that we're streaming, Ben.
Do it.
Ben, what are you drawing?
I'm drawing my manga. My special manga that's for special boys. Are we actually live? Or were you
We
goofing
we
earlier?
we are. Stop saying. Don't say the N word anymore.
But all right. Switching
I
gears.
know
Switching gears.
I know it's your favorite word.
Every day you come up to me and say, "Don't say it." I think
Don't.
it helps keep me in line, just in case, you
Yeah.
know.
Don't say it. Don't spray it. Like,
Even if I wasn't thinking it, you know, it's nice to be reminded every once in a while of where your boundaries are. But yeah, I'm drawing my manga, comic, whatever you want to call it. I'm American, so you can have an opinion about whether or not it deserves to be called a manga. But it's called Level Go Up, and I'm having a lot of fun drawing it because it started out. I'm gonna pull up the original, the first page of this chapter. This is chapter one I'm working on. But it started out with this page here, and then you can tell I just kind of got excited to make it look better
well,
because
didn't you
yeah,
say that it was sort of inspired by like a discussion on um pro- it's not progressive fiction. Is it progressive fantasy?
that's what it's called in the book space. I don't think it has like a commonly accepted term in the manga and anime space yet. I might be wrong on that. Maybe someone has thought of it.
I haven't heard it.
I think like Giga talked about it once and like coined a term that I did not remember, so I don't think it's a very good term because of that. But progressive fantasy is just kind of what I'm referring to it as, and yeah, this is just a kind of play on that. I just wanted a goofy leveling system like you see in Solo Leveling, except the system is just Windows 98, like here. Leveler.exe. And then I just want to make funny little goofs and gaffs on that.
Did you ever have your computer? Because I presume that you grew up with a Windows. I had a Windows 98 until like 2008.
Yeah.
Because my family had a Windows XP, but when I wanted like my own computer in my room, obviously my mom was not going to buy me my own computer, and she was just like, well, you can have the old computer, and the old computer was a Windows 98.
Okay.
And so that was I had a Windows 98 until probably about 20. God, it may have actually been until 2010.
Interesting.
It was awful.
It felt like it took forever for me to be able to get my own computer, which I don't know. I was paying for a lot of my own stuff because like my dad's an investment broker. He wants to teach me the value of money. So it's like, yeah, money I get from my birthday, money I get like I worked a part-time job literally as soon as I physically could. Which was hard because I lived in the middle of nowhere. And you needed a car to find any sort of work. So when I turned 16, got my license, I started work right away. But I think I got my computer a bit before that. It felt like it took forever, but I honestly think I got my first like own personal computer pretty quickly, and I'm pretty sure that was a Windows XP.
I was just thinking about I should get a pop filter because I just laughed right into the mic. But I
You
was
see, what I do is I have it like 3/4 turned away from my face. I'm talking at my screen, and the monitor's like pointed at my left cheek.
okay. I'll try something like that. Okay, maybe that'll work. Do I still sound good to you?
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
But Discord clears up a lot of that, so I don't know how it sounds on stream.
Well, if someone in the chat, if I sound terrible, let me know.
Oh yeah, I should pull up your chat to
Yeah,
see what's going on.
it's bopping in there.
Yeah. Okay, you might hear yourself for a second, so don't
Please,
get
up a lot,
don't
but
get scared.
I hear you twice.
Okay, it's good now. It's good. I had to mute it. It's fine. Yeah, Roy Thomas is in there. Hello.
Roy Thomas of comic book fame?
Roy Thomas of YouTube Twitch chat?
This isn't Twitch.
It's close enough. It's like it's the Twitch of YouTube.
But I was talking about my Windows 98. It was crazy because like I remember around like 2006 is when I like really got into like using the internet. Like that was the point where using the internet became like an everyday thing for me. In 2006 I would have been 13, right? And it kind of sucked because like yeah, my family had that Windows XP, but like in my own room I couldn't do basically anything on a Windows 98 because like all my main thing I liked to do on the internet was watch videos, and like the Windows 98 could not play videos. Like,
oh, it couldn't?
No, it couldn't. Like they just took forever to load.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It was still using like the old internet, right? Maybe I think it still used dial-up. Maybe it wasn't 2008. Maybe it was 2006. I remember that when I had this computer, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX was playing on Cartoon Network, and I'm gonna look up when Yu-Gi-Oh! GX started airing on Cartoon Network.
While you're looking that up, I'll tell a little story myself. I did not. I had the basic cable. I had like channel 11 Kids WB, but nothing like the majority of cartoons that kids grew up with. And Yu-Gi-Oh! For some reason was on Kids WB, but I never saw anything of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. Either that or it was just like coming out in Japan and hadn't really reached the States yet. I don't know if WB ever picked that up. But
GX was on Cartoon Network.
Okay, yeah, so I never would have seen it. So I started seeing stuff about it online, and it was stuff that was there was stuff from the Japanese version. And so I learned all the Japanese versions of these characters' names, and there was like a description online of what happens in the first episode. And this was like blowing my mind because the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Hadn't ended yet for me. It was probably like still in the Battle City arc or whatever. And I was also learning how to create basic HTML websites. And so when I was making websites, I was like, oh man, I'm going to make the website where we can get the whole scoop on what Yu-Gi-Oh! GX is about. And then I just basically transposed what the first episode was about onto a web page.
That rules. I did something similar with Yu-Gi-Oh! GX because around that time I was learning in school how to make graphs in Microsoft Excel. And so like I was tracking like each character's win and loss ratio and then making graphs, not just their own personal ones, but then compiling those as like, okay, the Slifer Reds have this many, the Raw Yellows have this many, Blues have this many. And there are considerably more characters in the red and blue than there are in the yellow. I realized very quickly.
I feel like, they never really showed much of the Raw Yellow aside from Bastion or whatever
Daisuke.
His proper Japanese name was.
Or I'm sorry, it's Daichi.
Daichi.
I'm a fake fan. Daichi Masawa.
Fake fan.
I know, fake fan. 20 in 2006. No, I was 13 in 2006.
And we're not that old yet.
Not yet. We're gonna get there though.
We're getting there.
I just need to outlive Joey the Anime Man.
That's our only goal.
I'm not gonna get into like the drama with him because it gets partially political and we don't need to deal with that. But it is funny that he got criticism and then was like, he just made like a video where he's like, why doesn't everyone just touch grass? And it's like, Joey, that's really easy to say when you're a millionaire. I'm just gonna put this out there. like people say he made an analogy. People said it was tasteless, and instead of just go like, he could have easily just hand waved it and been like, maybe so, but my point still stands on the matter I was discussing. He could have just easily just like hand waved it and been like, well, let's focus on what the point of the words were, not the words I used. He could easily done that, but he just like doubled down and then was like, you know what? Everyone just needs to touch grass. Why does everyone care so much about what I say? And it's like, that's really easy to say when you're a millionaire.
Yeah, like I don't know. That's something like I've been like on the cusp of like understanding more of though, like because you know I'm hanging out with a lot of streamers lately, and it's like it is kind of like a it's always on their minds like what happens if there is a point where we're big enough that anything could we could be dogpiled on for anything, even stuff that we're not responsible for,
Hmm.
and it's just like it could be like scary that you just have no idea how people will react to things,
Hmm.
and it does preemptively make you want to think, man, I wish people would not spend so much time getting upset at things on the internet. That's regardless of what Joey the Anime Man said. I literally don't even
It
know.
wasn't. It wasn't
But
that bad. It was just people blew it out of proportion because they hate him, which is fine, which is fair. uh, but
that is something that's just been on my mind more because of that, and because of the fact that I'm streaming myself now, and I'm I'm really popular.
and
I've
you're
got
always
like
saying the N word.
exact yeah. I'm not. Don't take that out of context. I'm not. Anyway, yeah, I've got like a whole like 2 people watching my stream sometimes, so you gotta be careful, man.
Yeah, I've definitely like I've been like trying to like do anything to really stay out of drama, and like
Mhm.
I do have a like I have this very reflexive nature where if I see something I will usually just throw out a snarky comment, but if it ever like begins to develop beyond that, I do try to step in and go, hey, let's just be real for a second, and
Yeah.
let's talk it out. And I've been doing pretty fine. I don't think I've no one's trying to kill me just yet.
Yeah, like I totally get the temptation, and knowing you for as long as I have, I do like recognize and respect the like that extra bit of thought that goes into your online interactions. It takes effort.
Mm-hmm. Orchids dub, hell yeah. I had a magazine. It's funny you talked about making a website for Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. I remember there was
Mhm.
a one of those Beckett Yu-Gi-Oh! Magazines where they had a preview.
Yeah.
It was like a preview book, and they explained what happens in the first episode before it aired. But like the information was wrong. It
Oh,
actually
was that maybe where I got the information for that first episode? It might have
it could
been.
have been because I remember
I
in that
got those Beckett magazines.
I remember in that magazine they specifically said that they said the ranking was raw obelisk cipher, where it's not. It's
Oh.
I remember they got that wrong. I always remembered that. Um, and um, I was thinking about how oh my god, what was I gonna say? Um,
Got information wrong.
I don't even remember what I was gonna say now.
Beckett magazine.
Where what
Make a
magazine?
website. Is that ringing the bells? No.
No, I'm lost. Where am I actually?
You started the conversation with about me making my website, and then went to the Beckett magazine. No, nothing.
No, I don't.
Dang.
Where am I? Is this a comic about Sasuke? It is not. It is a deconstruction of solo leveling.
And it's also really funny.
Whoa, okay. So you're adding little something new to the mix.
It is. Hold on. Like again, I'm pulling up the first page. How could you not enjoy a comic where the main character's name is God? Or the title page, Chapter 1, God dies.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
Move over solo leveling. Hayden, we watched or rather we wanted to watch the new Anime Men video. Um
Oh yeah.
partially edited by you. I saw in the comments I saw that comment where they credited you as the greatest human being.
Is that real? Is that
That's
really what they
yes,
credited him as?
that's the pinned comment.
That's
Um,
awesome.
uh, I think it's a debatable. Um, I would definitely. I mean, like, okay, so you got Mr. Beast,
Yeah.
then Hayden, maybe.
Well, you see, Mr. Beast like what blinded a bunch of kids at one point, so I think really Aiden
He
has
blinded a
chance
bunch of
number
kids.
one.
He's destroying Mecha. Have you seen that?
No.
So okay, so for context, I only know about this because of the roller coaster people.
Okay.
I'm not gonna act like I'm a well versed in like the geological situation of the Middle East, but this comes up in roller coaster videos. This is why I know this. So in Saudi Arabia, there's
Oh.
there's a city that is like being turned into this massive tourist hub, and
Hmm.
it already has a Six Flags, and it has like they're making like a Formula One track. They're making all of these tourist attractions as a way to drive tourism to Saudi Arabia, right?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was
I've heard stuff about that myself, but you keep going.
well, it was announced that Mr. Beast is going to be opening an amusement park in that city.
Okay.
And people online, without the context of it's going to be in a city in Saudi Arabia that's this massive tourist hub and has a Six Flags, are like,
Hmm.
they're literally paving over Islamic places to put a Mr. Beast thing. And it's like, no, they're putting it next to the Six Flags.
Wow. Yeah, what I heard about Saudi Arabia, and this is just like from another YouTube channel that's focused on like engineering, and they're talking about how like there is like this effort from investors and architects, which engineers like actually design the buildings for structural purposes. Architects design them for more aesthetic purposes,
Aesthetic
is my
purposes, yeah, like
understanding.
Mr. Brady from the Brady Bunch. Go on.
Yeah. And so they saw this video of promoting architects talking about this mile long but very narrow city that's stacked on top of itself, and they're saying how like, oh, the gravity is going to take care of all the water systems and stuff like this, and it's going to be totally green and self-sufficient and all this stuff. And he's talking about how stupid that is because it wouldn't actually work. They didn't consult any architects, any engineers at all.
Hmm.
And so it's just like I got the impression from all that stuff that it does seem to be just like an area where every big investor is just dumping a bunch of money into it to do all that all that hedge fund investor whatever
Yeah,
kind of crap.
Dubai
To
too.
yeah, yeah. Uh, so like I'm absolutely not surprised that Mr. Beast would be doing something there. It totally makes sense to me.
The big thing is that the Six Flags there is going to be it's they're building it right now. It's called Falcon's Flight. It was named
Okay.
after me.
Yep.
And it's the tallest, fastest roller coaster ever created. It surpasses Kingda Ka, although Kingda Ka was torn down. Regardless if Kingda Ka was still up, it is bigger and faster than Kingda Ka.
Wow. Can't believe they named it after. I remember when you got that letter from them, like, hey,
Yeah,
we're using your name.
The Saudi princes, they were like, hey, we saw your tweets about how much you loved Grendizer U. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, and they're like, send us $300, and we can make a return on so that we can access an American bank account and send you our 14 million. And then you did, and they never sent it back. I don't know why.
yeah, I don't know. I think they tweeted something that they were like, "Don't expect another season of Grendizer U." They said something that people were like, "Oh, I guess it's not happening." Because if you don't know, Grendizer U ended with it ends with a little a stinger of like, "Uh oh, the real villain's gonna come in the next season." Um,
And then he never
and he
did.
probably won't. Um,
Yeah, I forgot Grandizer was the one that was like funded by oil tycoons or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah, it was because the original anime was very popular there.
That's funny.
Yeah, Koji Kabuto has a Saudi Arabian mansion.
Yeah, it is. It's just really interesting what just like vast amount of money and practically nothing else as far as like infrastructure will will do for you.
Do I think Mr. Beast Amusement Park is going to bring a lot of GPs to the hobby? It'll bring a lot of GPs to Saudi Arabia, which is a shame because I don't think the country deserves it.
Huh. Well, I have no comment because I don't know a thing. So,
I don't really know anything either. I just know about roller
yeah.
coasters, and even then, I'm like,
Dude, I was working on a video for a client. I'm a professional editor, by the way. Hire me if you've got money.
So is Hayden.
Yeah. Speaking of which, if you want to get me in with the anime men, I actually am a good editor.
He won't fill the videos with AI.
And I won't fill the videos with AI.
It's funny that needs to be like as told to every editor now. Like, hey, don't put AI. I have seen some videos. So we can get back to what you were saying in just a second. I just wanted to say,
sure.
I saw. I'm not gonna say who it was. It was a YouTuber who was like an established YouTuber, and he was clearly using AI images, and it was like the bad AI images. It looked fucking demonic, and it's like, dude.
Oh man. Yeah, I accidentally, you know how Google's just like full of AI images now?
Oh, yeah,
I accidentally put one in a client's video, and I was ready to like, I was like, is it timed? Am I gonna have to go
am I
on
gonna get
Twitter
fired over this?
and admit that I accidentally did it. It's not the fault of my client. Like really, it's rough out there, and like I'm even concerned because I've got a subscription. I pay money for stock music, footage, etc. website, and I have to wonder if they're using AI stuff, and it's just getting hard to tell. Because there was one clip where I wanted to, it looked like it was animated aliens playing guitar, and I thought it'd just be a fun clip to put in for whatever they're talking about in the video. And I'm like, this looks like it was crappily animated in like Blender or something. Mm-hmm. But is it AI? I can't tell for sure. And I had to just assume it was not AI. One, because I'm paying money for it, and that would be terrible. And two, because it had like explosion effects that were a completely different style than the aliens, and so I had to assume they just like put different sources of different types of animation in After Effects and went with it. But it's hard to get around, but you know, at least I've got integrity about it. The one that's important.
I mean, I'm not gonna go crazy if it's like something where it's like, yeah, I can see how you make that mistake. The one that bugs me are the ones that are like incredibly obvious, and it looks like it looks like a fucking demon's face. Like I am not good at I'm not gonna act like I'm good at like deciphering, like, oh, okay, I know, like I've been tricked. But if I who have been tricked can pinpoint it, it's like, okay, well, come on.
Yeah, there's a point where you should be able to tell. So if you're like looking for it, then you can pick out like 80% of AI, which is not bad. But you got to stay ever vigilant.
It's a scary world out there. Do you want to watch this Anime Men video?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's pull it up.
Pull it up on your screen.
I'm doing it.
Okay. What is the chat saying? Oh, the chat hates you. Oh wow.
No, I'm not saying that.
They're saying you're a GP because you don't want to go to Saudi Arabia to ride Falcon's Flight, my roller coaster I made for me.
Okay, but Hayden's asking if you've seen Guy Slugger.
No, what is that? I felt so bad. I was doing my, you know, traditional patented John gaslighting on Twitter. And Ari from aka that Kodacha girl got involved in the mix, and she was like, because I was like, oh, Anime Men referencing Guy Slugger, of course, because there's a guy, spoilers, there's a Guy Slugger hidden in this video. And I was like, oh, normies, of course the normies know what Guy Slugger is. And someone was like, oh, that was because Hayden edited it. And I was like, Hayden? Who is that? And they were like, Hayden the historian. Haven't you seen their videos? And I was like, I think my exact reply was scratch his chin ... Hayden ? And then Ari, that Kodacha girl, had to jump in and tell me who Hayden was, and I felt so bad that she got involved in the gaslighting.
Wow, when gaslighting goes too far, it's all good fun until it's in person.
Yeah, accidentally gets gaslit.
Okay, I think this should be ready to play. You ready?
Yeah. Let me turn the music off.
Yeah.
Okay, go.
Going.
Yes, shoujo, the genre of anime.
Shoujo.
Wait. Shoujo is not a genre, it's a demographic.
It's
There's
both.
the difference. I mean, shoujo literally just means young girl in Japanese, just like shonen means young boy.
A genre is something like romance, and shoujo is generally associated with
Have you
romance.
can you pause it for a
because
second?
lot of shoujo
Have you seen
anime are based
the it's like the bell curve. I think it was Richard's Study of Swords. I hope that's his name. I see his name and but I don't know him too well. He posted it where it's like a bell curve and it's like at the start you're like shoujo and shonen are genres, and then at the top it's like actually they're demographics, and then at the other end of the bell curve actually they're both.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's still it's essential first step though.
Yes, that's the thing about this video. Running theme of this video is they are actively trying to immerse themselves in the culture of anime, which is good. And there's a lot of things in this video that feel like they're, you know, first steps, or like diving into the pool. Maybe they're not in the deep end yet. But I think that that's important. And one of the reasons why I've been saying it's important is that, like, they don't say anything incredible or profound or incredibly insightful in this video, but like this video is more important for them than it is for the people who watch their videos.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Especially because, like, the way I see it is that, like, they are TikTok famous, and TikTok famous is the most fleeting kind of internet famous you can have. So
they need to have something to ground them to have sustainable viewership, is what you're saying.
Yeah, they need to make more content where it's personal and where we really get more of them as people, because otherwise the TikTok fame is gonna slip away, and they really wouldn't they most likely wouldn't have anything. So, like, they need, even if this video does poorly and maybe they make more videos like this and they don't do as well as the TikTok stuff or the edits or the funny skits, I still think that this content is very important for them to make, to, like, maintain a group, basically.
Yeah. Tethra in the chat, is this a video from RageBait Anitubers? They were basically TikTok Anitubers who basically knew nothing and crapped all over classic animes and stuff because they didn't even, like, bother, like, watching them fully before rating them and stuff like that. They got a huge amount of backlash, and then they actually went to the most knowledgeable Anitubers in the space and said, okay, teach us how to get this stuff right. We're going to see if we can try to turn this around and actually learn from this.
Yeah,
so that's why we have this fascination with them.
Yeah, because, like, I think we streamed this on your channel, so this crowd may have not heard it. But what I said when they did their other video is that it was shocking to me that they reached out to, like, Shabes, and like other people, because those are not, like, big names, but they're names of people that are, like, pretty respected and known for being pretty unbiased and pretty open-minded, pretty easy to talk to people, even if they are giving, like, criticism. So it was interesting that they went to that, because in my head I think, oh, I'm a big YouTube, internet, TikTok star. My cynical brain would think, okay, if I was the, you know, 20-year-old TikTok star getting shit on by a bunch of people, I would probably be like, well, I'm gonna go to Super Eye Patch Wolf or Mother's Basement or, like, one of these really big accounts to signal boost
someone who's got tons of viewers. And
just to signal boost myself. And the cynical side of me is like, and I'm gonna change the narrative. I think anime has an elitist problem. I think they're the issue. And I think that the cynical side could get people to run with that, right? So the fact that they didn't go the easy cynical route of redirecting the narrative, that impressed me. And also they seem to sort of acknowledge that they're still new to anime. It's kind of interesting that some of them have been into anime for about 5 years, because they said they got on for COVID. Which it is funny that they call them COVID joiners. That is, like, the slur for new people, is COVID joiners.
Oh no, they're like the baby boomers.
Yeah. But it's interesting that they've been around anime for about 5 years, and they run a channel about anime, but there were very, like, entry-level anime things they still didn't know. But
Yeah.
it seems like they are trying to rectify that. And so this is an example of them trying to actually get themselves more in I don't want to say indoctrinated, more ingrained into the culture.
Yeah, get some roots going, get
Yeah.
some like actual like dedicated fans and not just people who are watching it because cool flashy lights and anime stuff that I've heard of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I honestly like that is really interesting to me. It is like a what I call it in my title of the stream we did on my channel, the reverse uh the yeah, my brain's not working. Streamer brain. Um,
Oh, I have way worse streamer brain than
the
you get.
reverse controversy. Yeah. So yeah, it's just genuinely impressive how this kind of happened, and so it does make me like want to root for them in a way.
Yeah, yeah, it's like okay, and that's one of the things that like especially over the last few years, I've thought about like what is the place of someone like me in the anime sphere, because I always liked anime history and learning about the past and sharing lesser known anime titles, manga, stories about from within the industry. I always loved that aspect of it. And one criticism I have towards the anime sphere, specifically Gen X anime people, like the old guard, as they say, is that
Yeah.
I felt they were very gatekeepy because they got in through the convention scene, and that was how they grew and all that stuff. And so I felt like the Gen Xers of the anime community were suddenly against people that got in through the internet. It was like kind of like how we call them COVID joiners. They looked at people who got into anime through the internet as like, oh, you're one of the internet people. Back in my day, we used to have to trade tapes, and it's like, well, that doesn't make does that make me less of a fan that I got in differently? And so
It's funny that it's the same exact kind of mentality you hear like, well, man, I had it so hard back in the day. I had to walk to school. I didn't have any cell phones, and kids these days have it so easy. Why should it be easier for them? And I mean, the whole point of progress is that it is easier for the next generation. So maybe try not to get caught up in your own selfish sour grapes.
Yeah, so that's my thing, is that like I don't want to be like the Gen Xers who I felt like I don't think they were intentionally trying to be gatekeepy. I think that they were just very like not interested.
They had it harder, and they were very dedicated because of that. So
yes,
I do like it totally. I totally understand where it comes from. It's just something that needs to be kept in check.
Yeah, exactly. So I as I thought about like what is my place in the anime community, my thing is that I didn't want to be like the Gen Xers. So like, yes, there are people who are just getting in. There's people who found anime through TikTok edits. Yes, there's people who think Demon Slayer and Jujutsu Kaisen are like the most incredibly impressive things, the greatest stories ever written. And like that's part of their journey, right? There's shows that we saw that were incredibly derivative, but to us they were incredible because it was the first time we saw it. We have to acknowledge that, and we're gonna, we might make fun of the people. Oh, Diddy Blood, and we might make jokes about them, but I think it is important to curate the community so that yes, eventually those people who get in through the TikTok edits and Demon Slayer and all these other normie things, that it does need to siphon down, and from those people who get in that way, there will be people who get into like the hardcore, and those are going to be the people who in the next generation, they are the ones passing down these stories. Basically, it's very much like,
oh, the anime men in the chat.
Yeah, are they?
That's funny. Apparently, it's got a big old check mark by it. It's got to be real.
Oh damn, it is the anime men. I hope they heard like what I said and didn't just join in.
We've been saying very positive things. We're liking the direction you're going. If that is the real anime men and not a fake.
Not a fake with a check mark. But yeah, so that is the thing, is that like, yes, we meme on the new kids. That's, you pick on the freshmen, right? But you also have to understand you can't go too hard, because you have to understand that from that group we are going to get the people who become the hardcore fans. And what's important for me is we get the next generation of people who also enjoy collecting the stories and the history and learning, and for them to pass it down, right?
Yeah.
Because that is one of my big issues with, as I said, with the Gen Xers, is that I felt like they did all this work, and I think that's great, but they were so against the internet culture that it just like we had to do so much work on our own instead of like them cultivating the next generation of hardcore fans. So
Yeah.
So yeah, we tease the new fans and stuff, but like they are an important part of the ecosystem.
Yeah.
And all hardcore fans start off as normies.
Yeah, like you had I remember it was a long time ago. It was probably like almost 10 years ago at this point. But we were talking and you were like, "Oh man, all these new anime are so derivative and stuff like this." And it's like, why do people even like these when these older shows are doing the same thing but and they're just like repeating it. And we had this discussion where it's just like, no, I mean, themes and tropes and everything is reiterated with the new generation. They're experiencing these shows for the first time, and they are just as good within that particular time frame. And so we can't look down on people who are getting into things like Jujutsu Kaisen, because it's effectively just as good as what got us into anime, which is like Naruto and One Piece and stuff like that. So it's really not worth looking down on just because it feels like it's kind of like a knockoff or a copy to you, because it is fresh and it has a lot of cool artistic value to it that you kind of just can't see with such a wide lens when you've been in this area for so long.
Perfect. Yeah, let's play the video.
Yeah.
Around romantic stories.
And we here at the Anime Men Incorporated are kinda known for our really bad takes. So you could say we're on a journey of expanding our anime knowledge, which is why each of us has chosen one shoujo anime to watch in its entirety.
So join us as we discuss and experience the most popular and influential shoujo of all time.
People love to talk about the 90s anime aesthetic. I mean, you're talking about the Yu Yu Hakusho's, the Cowboy Bebop, the Slam Dunks, the Evangelions, and obviously Sailor Moon. I'm gonna go out and say this. Sailor Moon is the most popular shoujo of all time. I don't care. Sailor Moon was the first to basically bring the Super Sentai.
Do you have any problems with that, John? Is that true?
In the magic girl genre,
it's
and it
for the most part.
I think for the most part it's true.
Sailor Moon in a nutshell is basically about a clumsy, stupid middle schooler, Usagi. Oh shit, not that Isagi. I'm talking about Usagi here, who meets a talking
I'm old because I didn't get that reference.
one, and from here on,
I think that's
Yeah,
I think
me
that's
neither.
I think that's a character from Blue Lock.
Town trying to secure.
I haven't seen any Blue Lock, so I don't know.
My brother, can you pause it for a second? I told you this story, right, where my brother loves Blue Lock. For context in the chat, my brother is about 6 years younger than me, and he is the epitome of a Zoomer. The story was that it was like last year, I was visiting my family, and my mom says, did you see that big anime movie that came out? Your brother was really excited for it. And I went, oh, The Boy and the Heron? The new Miyazaki movie? No, I haven't seen it yet. And she goes, that's not what it's called. And she's like, what was your brother calling it? And she checks her phone, and she goes, oh yeah, Blue Lock the movie. And I'm like, no, I haven't seen Blue Lock the movie, Mom.
That's your fault.
Yeah, I know. I'm missing out. But yeah, you can hit play.
2 minutes.
Okay.
Starts losing the fight a little, and then uses her tiara to secure the win. Tuxedo Man shows up, tosses one.
That's his
row,
name, Tuxedo
4
Man.
bombs, dips, and the signal.
That's what I would call him.
He never actually fights the people, or when he does fight,
Yeah, his
I love him for that.
his powers are very unclear. I think it's still debated whether or not he can fly.
Stops being a tiara spam, and
Yeah,
it
he kind of just he really does just show up to Aura Farm, as the kids say.
As the kids say.
Extremely basic, and it followed the same formula, even during more of like the plot-heavy manga-specific parts. Yet I was never upset. I was never mad at the episodic monster of the week formula, because there was one thing that was secretly hiding beneath all of these fights. and that is the vibes. The vibes in the show are just so good, and I think it has to do with our main character Usagi, because she's literally the opposite of the perfect main character. She's clumsy, she's lazy, she's stupid. She doesn't really like working for stuff, but at the same time, she will put in the work and do it. She is not like your
You love a
Tanjiro,
classic
where you
girl
only see
failure.
the good in
Hell
someone,
yeah.
you never see the bad. You see the bad in Usagi. You see
What
it
the-
a lot. At the end of the day, she will put the suit on, and she will defeat the main villain, and she'll repeat the process in the next morning. But beneath the secret episodic style formula, there was a secret underlying plot, and it's about Usagi slowly finding the dream team.
Who the hell are you? I'm here to talk to you about the Avenger Initiative.
Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, Venus, and her, obviously the moon, building the perfect roster that turns into the core of the whole show. The first person you get introduced to besides Usagi is, in my opinion, one of the least impressionable beginnings of the entire show. We learn about Ami. She's just very on a straight road.
Wow, we
She
didn't call
wants
her
to become
Amy.
Someone great. She wants to become a
What?
doctor. And then after you
Even I
find
call her
out
Amy
she's one of
sometimes.
the Sailor Guardians, and she finds out herself. She realizes there's
We were also
more
raised
to
on the
life
dub,
than just the
so.
straight path that she was going.
Yeah.
It's
For
about
me,
the friends you made
can you
along
pause
the
it for a
way,
second?
and
I
Sailor
actually
Moon
still need to
is
like,
born.
even though like Chad and I have watched it subbed now, I still like in my head call Sailor Jupiter Alita. Like that's just like ingrained. It's like how it's like some of the Dragon Ball Z names where it's like I can there's some Dragon Ball Z names where it's like, okay, it's easy for me to say the Japanese version, but like it's hard for like I'm gonna keep calling him Krillin. I'm sorry. His name's Krillin. Like
Well, yeah, like I watched through because you recommended like Mr. Fusion.
Yeah.
And he goes into the etymology of each of the names and how like the generally best way, like there's always going to be debate because translation's never perfect, blah blah blah. But Kuririn is like it doesn't work. It doesn't. We can't. We as Americans, our tongues are not built
it's not
to say
natural
that.
to the American tongue.
Yeah. So
But,
I think Krillin honestly is fine. There's no English words that we can connect it to. So let's just make it easier.
I will
on
say
ourselves.
I will say on the Sailor Moon segment here, I think I mentioned to Hayden if they're doing Sailor Moon, they should I was like, can you mention how the reincarnation plot of Sailor Moon is inspired by the manga Please Save My Earth? Because I've watched a ton of Sailor Moon videos and none of them have ever acknowledged that the manga Please Save My Earth, which came out during this boom of reincarnation stories, was an inspiration on Sailor Moon. There's other anime and manga and even light novels like Mirage of Blaze, Nazca. Trying to think of other ones. There's other ones too, but those are just some of the name a few. And it's these stories of characters who are living normal lives, but are then told that in a past life they had some sort of supernatural or some prolific they are the reincarnation of someone who had a prolific life. In Please Save My Earth, which is the direct influence for Sailor Moon, it was that they were aliens living on the moon. And all these stories, what they do is that the characters are encountering drama that's sort of pushed by the relationships they had in their past life, but it creates a bit of friction because the main character doesn't necessarily feel the attachment to that life. And I don't generally like these stories. That's not, in fact, like the story parts of Sailor Moon I think are the weakest. They're the ones that least interest me.
Yeah, just by describing the genre, it does feel like it's very manufactured conflict.
I understand there's a romantic aspect to it that I think probably appeals to female readers. These stories are often made
like that whole destiny.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
the idea that in every lifetime our souls will meet, right? So there is a romantic quality that makes them popular with female readers. I understand as someone who is not a Japanese woman, I understand they're not made for me. Not saying the genre needs to change. Just saying it's not made for me, so it doesn't appeal to me.
Yep.
But I was telling Hayden, like, you should just like feed them that information so they can be the first video to actually talk about that aspect of Sailor Moon. And I think Hayden's response was like, they need to do like we can help them with research, but they need to do it themselves because this is about them and their journeys. Yeah. So like that's important. And I was like, that makes sense. Yeah, you don't want to just like have them
absolutely
where everyone has seen the video where someone is like talking about a subject and they randomly say something like really eloquent about it, and it's like, okay, who'd you copy that from?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I've seen videos like that.
Rei and Usagi are probably my favorite parts of this entire show. Rei comes off as this super confident, prideful girl who's basically just an asshole who says what she wants to say. You find out she does say these mean things because she cares about every single member of the group. And even though she constantly clashes with Usagi, she really does hide how much she actually respects her and their friendship. In my opinion, my favorite girl in the show, besides Usagi, is Sailor Jupiter. She has the strongest introduction. I like the older sister, younger sister vibe.
She's
with
dressed
them.
like a
She's
football.
basically just the older sister of the friend group, and she's definitely my favorite. And last but not least, we have Sailor V, or Sailor Venus. She's like this secret celebrity. She's living the double life. Sailor Venus is basically... Sailor Moon did its job as a show because you can at least relate to one character. At least one character you are going to like and enjoy. And for a lot of people, especially in Japan, it was Sailor Mercury.
True. That's where I got my name from.
That's
I love
true.
that. I love that Kurama's there.
These
The boy.
impressionable beginnings of the entire show. If you don't like it, you don't like it. If you like it, you like it. I'm going to probably read the manga after this. And if you
Manga's
keep
not as good.
watching it, I'm jealous. of you.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I love the Sailor Moon anime. Manga's not as good.
Even though he was always kind-hearted and giving. The humans were always scared of him and ran away whenever they saw him. Then there was the Blue Ogre, who was the Red Ogre's friend. The Blue Ogre notices how hard this
That's
has
a
been
cool
on the Red
design.
Ogre and suggests that he can stir the pot for the humans. And the Red Ogre can stage himself as a hero, saving the humans from the Blue Ogre, thus finally becoming friends with the humans. Well, this ogre story perfectly describes my love story. Well, I don't mean my love story. I mean like it's better if I just show you. My love story, or Ore Monogatari, is a light-hearted rom-com anime adapted.
Oh
from
my
a
God,
manga
this is
that
the
ran
show.
from
I
2011 to 2016.
I think I
And it
refused to
mainly
watch
follows
it
the
because
story
our evil roommate liked the show. Do you remember?
I don't remember that specifically, but
yeah.
I do like the evil roommate. Yeah, I know why you would not want to watch.
Yeah,
anything
he used to use it. He had this guy as his icon for a while, and I was like, fuck this show. I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, if anyone was a tourist, it was him.
Yeah,
Like, I don't think he particularly cared about
was
anything
the-
he watched it anyway.
Yeah, he was the worst tourist.
But high school named Takeo. Now, Takeo is huge, tall, muscular, and very scary and intimidating. And honestly, I can very much relate to this guy. I mean, not with the muscular, tall, very intimidating, very scary. Honestly, only the huge part. And I don't know if you guys can
I don't know.
tell,
They got
but I
the similar
define
face
dressing
shape to
like
them.
him,
I could see it.
didn't have
Yes,
a clue.
that's
He
what
could play
yeah,
him in the live action if he
know.
buffed up a little bit.
Yeah.
Whatever. Now, Takeo is probably the exact opposite of what most people consider to be conventionally attractive. That would go to his best friend, Sunakawa, or Suna for short. That's the person that all the girls are into, but he never seems to be interested in like any of them. Now, remember the story about the ogres that I previously mentioned? That would perfectly encapsulate the relationship between these two friends. The red ogre being Takeo and the blue ogre being Suna. Now, their friendship is unorthodox, you could say. That might be my favorite part of the show. But with Takeo being basically the punching bag of everyone in the show, Suna always has his back. And one day, while Suna and Takeo are riding the subway, Takeo saves a girl named Rinko from being groped. And because
it's like
of this,
Densha
Rinko
Otoko.
falls in love with Takeo, and Takeo falls in love with her.
I don't even know
And they
what that
begin
means.
dating, which is funny
Train
because
Man.
before they started dating, Takeo actually
What?
thought
I
Rinko
Train
was
Man.
in
I
love
actually
with Suna, his best friend.
you can
And
pause
that's
it for a second.
basically the gist of the plot.
Train. So it's a very popular. I believe it was originally a book, but it was a very popular book and then TV drama, and it's about a otaku, like a really shy, meek otaku who intervenes on it during a train molestation. Like it's a drunk guy on a train tries to like grab a girl and starts making like saying like you should touch my penis, and like the otaku like actually stands up and like defends her, and they wind up forming a relationship, and it's about this like attractive office worker lady building a relationship with this person who was like this otaku who's never had a girlfriend before, and they sort of like have like this cultural exchange. And in Japan it was very popular because it like sort of led to people being more accepting of otaku. It's like, you know, otaku in the 80s because of the Satomu Miyazaki incident considered like a bad term. Like you didn't want to be called an otaku. By the 2000s, you start to see it become a reclaimed term where it's like proud otaku, and you see figures like Toshio Okada from Gainax are like, you know, public figures that people like. And with Densha Otoko, more people became accepting of otaku and more accepting of like nerdy traits, basically.
Okay, yeah. Like I knew it. Like Japan is so strict with like you got to be beneficial to society. You gotta fit in well and do all that stuff. So I knew otakus was like it was like a really negative thing.
Yeah, it was heavily sensationalized. It's like it was from the Tsutomu Miyazaki was like a murderer who was called an otaku, and it was you know, he had like tapes of anime, so they sensationalized that as like, oh, you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful for anime. In truth, like people have evaluated it, and he was like a crazy person that taped everything on TV all the time. Like he had more news broadcasts taped than he had anime, but like it was sensationalized in the media, and that's why otaku became like a negative thing.
So if you were to equate it with our culture, it'd be like people saying video games are what's causing violence.
Very, very similar. And so I was just pointing that out because it seems like the show sort of drew a little bit from Densha Otoko, where it's like the kind of unattractive guy, but he saves the attractive girl, and
Now, I love romance anime, and it might be my favorite genre of anime. And this anime was such a breath of fresh air. I mean, it was unlike anything that I've ever watched. For Oromonogatari, they actually established a relationship really early into the show. So instead of waiting for that magical moment of waiting for the two characters to ask each other out, you actually get to see more about how they grow as a couple. With Takeo being the main character, he learns how to embrace his identity as well as what it means to be a good boyfriend for Rinko. It's very interesting to see Takeo, you know, the guy who literally scares everyone around him, is actually the polar opposite on the inside. Instead of being the intimidating, scary, mean person that he looks like, he's actually the most caring, kind, and gentle person like literally ever, which I feel like is such a breath of fresh air when it comes
I'm being totally honest, like he's kind of selling me on this. I do kind of want to watch this now.
By Studio Madhouse, you know it's gonna have really good animation. And Studio Madhouse is typically
I think I can get over the fact that our evil roommate likes the show. It has been like 12 years since we've seen him, so
we can move on.
Yeah.
He's worked on banger anime like Cardcaptor Sakura.
Thanks.
Chobits,
that's a Hayden line right there.
Nana. It's also interesting to note that the future director of Death Note and also Attack on Titan, Tetsuro Araki, has worked very closely with Morio Asaka, which I feel like that's such a wild contrast. You literally got the director of Death Note and also Attack on Titan who worked with the director of Oromonogatari. And after I finished the show, I actually really enjoyed it. And it's funny because I've actually been recommended to watch this show like several times, but I just never got around to doing it.
I wonder if he had an evil roommate.
I saw this poster and I was like, I mean, I couldn't help but just think that the show was either going to be really weird or just another simple old romance anime.
Like that big guy's design does remind me of the Kusomiso.
I mean, I think the weird thing to say, but I think the Kusomiso guy's a little bit more attractive.
Whenever Rinko does it, Takeo does this. And when I mean relatable, I don't mean that in terms of extreme heartbreak or even drama. I mean that in the sense of more everyday things, like overthinking a text, feelings of jealousy, learning to trust one another, and also wanting the absolute best for one another. It's something that I think a lot of people can relate to when it comes to love. I'm sorry, Aiden. Overall, I actually really enjoyed this anime. It's a breath of fresh air, and it's genuinely just something really entertaining to watch. I found myself relating to this show a little more than I would have liked, and I think some of you guys might too. So check it out.
So way back in 2021, I actually started watching Fruits Basket in Discord with some random people, and for whatever reason, I decided to drop it after 8 or 9 episodes, and I'm really glad I started watching it again. So the original story was created by Natsuki Takaya way back in 1998, and it continued all the way until 2006. And that meant the 2001 anime covering Fruits Basket had to create its own original ending, which meant it deviated from the original source material. So the 2019 anime came out to fix that problem, to adapt the entirety of the manga and follow its original source material. But enough of that, I'll be getting into the summary now. Fruits Basket is about a kind-hearted girl named Toru Handa who loses her mother and her home, so she decides to live in a tent. Coincidentally, Fate intervened and a couple members of the infamous Soma family, Shigure and Yuki, decided to invite her to her home after discovering what she was living like. And to 10, come on. And obviously neither of them expected that the kindness they shown to this girl would equate into something life-changing. I mean, the scope of their lives changed, and for the better. And upon living with them, Toru discovers that this family carries a curse. Any member of the family hugging someone of the opposite sex will transform them into an animal of the
Editor
zodiac.
removed a
And as this
mention
story
of
continues,
Akitaro
Toru finds
Daichi.
himself meeting more
Really
members
wanted
of
to be in the
family.
video.
Kyo is the cat, so he's obviously
Really?
very angry. He likes drinking milk, and he
Editor
has a
removed a
crush
mention
on
of
Yuki,
Akitaro
who
Daichi.
happens to also be a rat. Yuki
Was it
being the
because of
rat
his,
is
like,
obviously very
controversy that's, like,
charming,
not
quick-witted,
proven?
You know, he gets
Hayden, hit us up. Was it because
Yeah,
he had a
let's go.
controversy that was unsubstantiated?
all the girls at school, but he also has very low self-esteem. Shigure is the dog, so he's obviously very playful and teases other members of the family, but he's also cruel and sometimes schemes to tip things in motion towards his favor. And it's clearly evident that other members of the Soma family would share characteristics with their respective cursed animals, but honestly, I should stop talking about that. You should watch the show on your own and figure that out for yourself. You know, something I noticed that really hit me hard as I was watching.
Don't think I know who the Daichi was, and so they cut it.
Oh, okay. Well, Akitaro Daichi, you know what's funny? I've been getting into Akitaro Daichi's stuff. I love his catalog of anime. Like, I had seen Kodocha, but like his name as the director of it didn't really register to me. But I watched Jubei-chan, which I know you're not the biggest fan of Hayden, but I loved Jubei-chan, and that and I also watched this year. I watched 2 of his shows. I watched Jubei-chan and what's it called? I was gonna say Akitaro Daichi. Carried by the Wind, Tsukikage Ran, and I was shocked because I went in with no expectation on Tsukikage Ran, and I did not expect it to be that good. I'd never heard anyone talk about the show. I think I discovered the name just like going through people's mouths and seeing like what my mutual friends are watching, and I think Izzy had it as planned to watch, and I was like, oh, that looks interesting. Didn't know who Akitaro Daichi was, just started watching it. I was like, oh wow, this is really good, and no one talks about it. I still need to watch season 2 of Jubei-chan though. I know that was actually Daichi took like a back seat, and that's more directed by Nagahama, which I'm also interested in because he also directed the one good episode of Uzumaki. So I'm curious to see what his Jubei season 2 looks like.
All right.
The show was Toru Honda being an outsider ends up being the catalyst for this Soma family's healing. Instead of acting out of fear or resentment towards members of the Soma family, she genuinely treats them with care. It's totally unlike other characters who encounter the Soma family. They treat them with disgust, disrespect, and disregard, and don't treat them as humans. The acceptance that she has towards every member of the family has to be the backbone of the story. This all leads to Toru stepping into a family that's been built on secrecy and shame and turning back the clock. All the time that she's been involved with the Soma, she's been loosening the chains that they've been bound by for so long. The Soma family lives with parental abuse and grief caused by their zodiac god, Akito. Basically, Toru comes in, reverses all of that, replaces all those negative emotions with positive ones. It's not because she has powers like her counterparts, but it's because she sees past each curse and views every member as a human, and some of them don't even think they are. And an episode that really stood out to me and supports this narrative is season 1's Let's Go Home. One of the best episodes of the show, 1000%. The episode really gives reason as to why Kyo acts out the way he does towards every member of the family, aside from his Shisho, his mentor. Like, throughout the show, I had the craziest amount of goosebumps every time Toru kept developing as a character, kept strengthening her goals with this family, what she was trying to do, and honestly, there wasn't an obstacle that could stop her. This episode basically showed me the heights that this show was going to reach, and it wasn't the only one either. Episodes that had me feeling the same were My Precious, I'm Disappointed in You, and What's Your Name? And honestly, these episodes really elevated the show for me, and I didn't know it was gonna go down like this before I even started watching it. And I don't want to go into detail at all about what these episodes show because you need to experience them for yourself. Each character in the story feel real. Kyo with his anger and shame, Yuki with his yearning for connection, Akito wanting control based on the role she was bestowed, and Toru being ever so resilient. And this right now is to anyone who hasn't given Fruits Basket a chance. It might be time to. I'm being 100% real. Mic drop.
I'm gonna be a
She dropped it.
I'm gonna be a crudgeony millennial and say like, man, I wish the 2019 show looked as good as the 2001 show. Like I'm just like, man, the 2001 show looks visually so much better. But like I would love to see a full adaptation done by Akitaro Daichi, but unfortunately that's not the world we live in.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I feel like digital animation, digital anime specifically, has only recently gotten to a point, and even then, it still has like some issues where it's like they've kind of mastered the medium, and it can actually make it look like really good. Um,
Well, the original
so
Fruits Basket was digital. It's 2001, but
is it okay? Maybe I got the wrong idea then.
I
Never
believe it
mind.
is digital.
Disregard me.
But
Okay, so you're just talking about art style and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, like the art style and like man, Akitaro Daichi just makes really like his face. Like he always has characters do really emotive facial expressions.
Ooh, character acting.
Yeah, he does a lot of that, and it sells like scenes. So, like,
Gotcha.
I just feel like the 2019 one just kind of looks like we made an anime. Sorry to be reductive. But yeah, I prefer the way that I prefer the way the 2001 show looks.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't seen either. So
Nana, the greatest piece of fiction to ever grace this planet. Do you love romance? Do you love amazing written characters? Do you also love music? Do you also love pain and despair and having a show leave you empty? That's
I like
Nana.
some of those
Okay, but
things.
For real, I've watched Nana 5 times now, and I can clearly say this is my favorite show.
I don't know what the
Before,
status of
I go
Nana
off
is,
on
like
craziest blazes
master wise,
of
but
all
the footage looks super low quality. There has to be better
Yeah.
quality footage of Nana, right?
maybe they blurred it to because
Copyright?
no, that's not blurred.
Yeah.
Because like some of the footage is blurred, and I thought it was just to make sure to keep him in focus.
Oh,
But
okay.
written characters. Do you also love music? Do you also love pain and despair and having a show leave you empty? That's Nana. Okay, but for real, I've watched Nana 5 times now, and I can clearly say this is my favorite show of all time. And before I go off on the craziest
his
blazes
favorite show of all time. Wow.
let me give you the summary. Nana came out April 5th, 2006. Now thinking about it, I was 3 years old when the show came out. That's actually crazy. Okay, but basically, this is how Nana
I was
starts.
13.
Essentially, we see our
I was
first
making a
character,
Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Excel chart.
She essentially is going to Tokyo to change her life. So when
I was making a Yu-Gi-Oh! GX website.
Guess what she runs into? And this is where we meet our second main character, who's fine as hell. And guess what her name is? Of course, Nana again. But Nana's also on the train, and they're both 20-year-old girls.
Oh,
Nana
I have heard of
also
this one.
chases her dream in Tokyo.
That's
Both
very
named
funny to
Nana,
say.
same exact age, and both going to Tokyo.
I'm trying.
I feel
I
like
was
you've
trying
heard-
to remember where I heard of it.
I mean, you have at least heard of
Catching up for the next like what?
all
4
of
or
these,
5
right?
hours, something like that they're going to Tokyo.
I think so. I honestly am not sure if I've heard of the My Love Story.
Huh.
But I remember hearing this one. And I was just trying to remember from where. I think it was from like manga recommendations.
Yeah, it's
So-
it's
Then
very
once they reach
popular.
Tokyo, they both split off and go their separate ways. But at the very end of the first episode, we see them coming back together because they're both touring the same exact apartment, room 707.
I think the editor for this section didn't have the internet speed or storage to download the full series to get footage for it.
That's crazy.
2 bedrooms, 2 baths. They both look at each other and say,
If you hire Ben as your editor, he'll never have not enough internet
Yeah,
storage.
Anime Man, if you're still in the chat, like honestly, hold on, let me plug myself real quick.
Oh my god.
Go to linktree.com/Krakey, that's KREKE
Post it in the
dot
chat.
editing.
Post the link in the chat.
Yeah, okay, I'll do that. Linktree, that's linktr.com/Krakey.editing. You'll find my demo reel there. You'll find plenty of examples of other high-profile channels that I've worked for, and I've got an 8 TB hard drive where I can store as much anime as I would like. So you can get the good quality stuff. No, honestly, like I'm genuinely fascinated by the work that's going into this channel, and so if you do need editors, I would love to help out.
Nana, black hair Nana, is actually in a punk rock band that she started in high school with her main lover named Ren. Ren ends up leaving to go to Tokyo to find the newest, biggest, baddest band, the rival band, and that band, his name is Trap Nest. Ren ends up leaving them, and this is where we also meet the 2 other main characters as well, Nobu and Yasu. Nobu, Yasu, Ren, and Nana all went to the same exact high school, starting a band together in pursuit of their dream. While the other Nana was just an airheaded girl, but her best friend Junko, they grew up together. Nana, as we see in the backstory on the come along, is a very she a bop, I'm not gonna lie to you. You know, she definitely multiple guys, talking to older guys. Her life is kind of crazy. And this is where we truly find out what relationships are going to be like to tell the tale throughout Nana. Nana meets her boyfriend named Shoji, and you know, they both go to the same college. Everything's sunshine and rainbows. They love each other. They go on dates. Everything's connected. But then comes the first problem. The real reason The reason why Nana was going to Tokyo is because Shoji was leaving to go to Tokyo for school. He's going to art school. And guess what? Who's also going? Junko was also going. And her other friend and her boyfriend. Everyone was going to Tokyo and she's being left behind. So that is why the first Nana went to Tokyo. But essentially, Shoji ends up cheating on Nana. But through all this, we start meeting people.
You see, can you pause for a second?
This
actually ties in with something. I actually just did a little thing for Ari, who is that Kodocha girl. She's working on a video about shoujo and the appeal, and what, you know, maybe why it doesn't appeal to as many people as shonen. And one of the points I bring up is that for a lot of shoujo, they focus so much more on character relationships, and it's very hard to sell something or advertise something by the strength of its character relationships. You know,
that's something that I was thinking about that just at the exact same time,
because he's talking about, like, there's this character and he does this, and as you're watching the show, it's very enthralling. But when you have to tell someone, oh well, there's this character and they do this and they do that and they do that, and then the person just, it's like, all right, I use in my thing for Ari, I used Glass Mask as an issue. When you watched a little bit, I made you watch a little bit of Glass Mask, but it's like good. It's a drama where she's trying to be a famous actress, but she has to go through all these hurdles that get progressively more intense. And it's like, if I just tell you what happens, it's not as interesting as you watching it unfold. That you just, and like I mentioned, that if you look up any poster for Glass Mask, it doesn't look as intense as it gets. And that's like, I can totally understand why someone would look at that poster and go, it looks boring, and then just move on. Because it's like, how do you advertise that, right? I think with Nana, it has, because of its art style, especially with the manga, I think the manga more so than the anime even, it has a cool art style, and so that helps sell it. But like, I think a lot of shoujo do struggle because they're hard to advertise and they're hard to convey in a way. Whereas like with Demon Slayer, you just go, guy's sister got turned into a demon and he's gonna fight the biggest demon in the world to break the curse on her. It's like, there you go. Yeah,
there's not much of a good elevator pitch for that. Like, I'm thinking of stuff that I've read through manga, and I'm thinking of stuff like Akane Banashi, a huge manga in Shonen Jump right now.
Yes.
But it is literally just a story about a very modern girl wanting to do this very traditional style of storytelling, where you sit on a cushion in front of a microphone and tell funny little stories. And even the stories being funny isn't even that important. It's how you present it is like the art form. And it is like, it sounds so boring. And the fascinating thing is that you're so engrossed in the character drama of it. And it's such a mundane, like, pitch. It's such a mundane, just plot summary. So it is really hard to just say, this is really cool, or describe what happens as the plot summary to get someone into it. That's that's something that would require a lot of work to make it sound as good as it feels to watch or read.
And for me with Akane Banashi specifically, for me the appeal of that is how when she's doing Rakugo, when she's doing the storytelling, you know, part of Rakugo is you have to play every character, and you don't wear costumes, so you have to do it through voice, which conveying that through manga, Jesus Christ. And then also with facial expressions, and the artist makes the facial expressions look so on point to the emotion that the character in the story within the story is conveying, that it's like,
that's what
you just have to read
an anime adaptation. I was surprised that it apparently is getting one.
Yes, it is.
Because it's really hard to convey that kind of stuff. There's so much subtlety in it, and that's kind of like what all the plots of shoujo have to a degree, is because it's based on character drama. That is a level of subtlety that is just hard to just say, here it is, isn't it cool?
Yeah.
Again, but what y'all know about Shin the Go?
I remember that from
Hachi
2001.
in the show because she's kind of like a little dog.
That was when he was 1 year old.
Gets intertwined with Nana's life. She really likes the fact that Nana has
If I remember my years, if I'm remembering my years right.
I don't think you are.
Nana is in love.
Sorry, I just think about Yu-Gi-Oh! GX.
Story, as you see in
So.
her backstory, that they're deeply in love, high school lovers. But when Ren left to Tokyo, it broke her heart, and that was the reason she was chasing her dream to rival him, like the most popular like punk band in Japan at the time, called Trap Nest. So with the other bandmates, Yasu and her, they all travel to
Oh,
find
dude, a
new
bald
group, new
guy?
basis, and that's where they find Shin. That's
Dude.
why they-
So finally some
and they start their
representation.
band named Blast. Now they're very underground at this time. They don't have many listeners. They have hometown listeners. Obviously, Nana is very popular in her hometown. She's like a hometown hero. But out in Tokyo, not a soul knows who they are. They have zero management. They have barely any fans. All they have is the 4 of them and Hachi now to really make it big. Hachi, in fact, is actually obsessed with Trap Nest, the rival band, which is really funny. And she's in love with a guy named Takumi. That is her favorite guy. Remember Takumi? He's a very
Yeah, this is
Rough. This is a little bit of a rough sell.
Yeah, this is.
a different vibe.
I'm trying to think because this is making me think about how the direction they're going as a whole. Because for anyone who's not fully caught up, because I am seeing the capital G in chat saying, why is it a kid from the Anime Men on screen? It's because they're going through a redemption arc where they're actually learning things and they need to kind of adjust to that. And it's a very fascinating development in the YouTube space. So we want to encourage that. But yeah, I'm thinking like we've noticed and we've been told that they've been having problems like with their editors, how they're like wanting to do like these TikTok types of edits and video types, and they're having such trouble like adjusting to this format where they're basically just talking about anime and what their appeal is and trying to sell people on it. In these very
They're trying to make more personal content than just
Yeah.
the very flash in the pan stuff that pops off and then
a lot less flashy, a lot more grounded. So I've been trying to think of like what would you do to make sure you're not losing your whole audience when you do that, which is maybe it's a bit of a step that you have to go through, but you can still minimize that. You can still work around it a bit. There's always stuff that you can do to try to bridge the gap a little bit more. And so I keep thinking like, it feels like I think they might be going at it a little hard, honestly. Like I do think they need fact checkers, and they do need to have people like recommend them different shows that would be appealing and would be interesting to show to a new audience. But I don't think that's necessarily all that they need to be. I think these first few videos are good that they are doing just that.
Yeah.
So they can get their feet on the ground running. But I do think they need to find a nice hybrid between the two, which would honestly be very helpful because they've got the flashy appeal, which gets the new people in, and then they've got the groundedness and the actual like real facts and actual good recommendations and fact checking and all that to stand apart from everyone else and be much more sturdy than any of the other flashy people in the TikTok space that are doing anime TikToks and stuff like that.
And I would also like to add to this conversation that I'm not necessarily bald, but I did shave my head. I saw that in the chat and people were asking. My hair started to thin a little bit and I went, it's not a good look. So just shave it off. So I shaved my head.
Having hair looks good, having no hair looks good, having some hair
rough, not a good look. I will say it was really funny how I jokingly referred to the word bald as the B slur, and and I noticed that Chad was talking about, I forget who it was, some actor, but he was gonna say I don't know, Bruce Willis or Jason Statham, someone in that category, and he was like because he's bald, because he's got a shaved head. Like,
He's being considerate.
Yeah, thanks for not using the B slur.
Yeah, Bobo villain.
Yeah.
That's funny. But yeah, I think because like it does like get me concerned a bit. Like these are guys that I am now attached to because of like what they're doing, what they're trying to do to be like a lot more responsible with the type of stuff that they're making. And so I want to make sure that they're not just like shooting themselves in the foot without any tangible benefit to it, or like a backup plan, or I don't know, just like a roadmap in place to avoid the pitfalls that they are making for themselves by trying to be more responsible.
Well, they've got
So
people. They've
it's
got people like Hayden working for them.
that's true, yeah. But
Who can you actually show like the comment where it says like, I think they said Hayden was like the greatest human being.
oh yeah, let's see if we can look at that real quick. Huge shout out to Hayden, the most helpful human ever, and makes great YouTube videos. Yeah,
Damn.
the most helpful human ever.
I mean, I'm still gonna argue Mr. Beast, but Hayden is up there.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
Swagger to them. And in my opinion, even better. I think the side cast is literally better than both the Nana characters. Not only do we see the main plot of these two bands trying to fight for glory, we also see love stories in between both the band members, Nana and Ren. Ren comes back and sees Nana for the first time after a while, and a love story sparks again. But now, Hachi, like I said, was in love with Takumi. She's like, oh, that's my idol. Guess what? Takumi pulls up, and no, I'm not gonna spoil anything here, but you know, real Nana fans, if you guys watch it, you know how I feel about Takumi. Then people are, it's a love triangle. You know, you have Nobu in there as well, who also is in love with Hachi, but Hachi's in love with another man. So much goes on, so much pain and despair that goes on, but a lot of character development in between that. You see very, very popular brands.
Yeah, since we're having a hard time getting attached to this, I do want to start talking again about ideas I've been thinking of. You've mentioned Super Eye Patch Wolf already.
Yeah.
As an example of who they could have turned to for help.
Yeah, the dark route. The dark route.
Yeah. I do think Super Eye Patch Wolf has one very strong benefit that I notice as an editor, and it's that he does put together videos in a very compelling way with a story specifically, and I think that actually might be the best way to get someone into something new is to like sell them a story on it, about the discovery of this, and like where you were before this, how your mind changed as you discovered this, where you are after this, some revelation that has shown itself to you through this whole process of finding these cool animes and things like that. I think that might be what genuinely benefits stuff like this, because right now it feels like I am just being pitched shows by people who I don't want to say it's not genuine, because like I do like fully believe
it's like they're pitching you shows that they genuinely like, but they also haven't, you know that they haven't experienced the wider network of these shows.
Yeah, and it feels kind of clinical, like it's like it was for this video. Which it's just a matter of rearranging the elements into a story that is compelling. Yeah, that I think really could make it work.
I was thinking about this because I was again for Koto-cha, the way I discovered Koto-cha, a show that we brought it up because of that Koto-cha girl, brought it up because of Akitaro Daichi. Today is just Koto-cha night apparently. But I remember the way I discovered that show was I was watching convention panels on YouTube in like 2008, 2009, and I didn't go to many conventions, but I was really interested in hearing dub voice actors talk about the show. So I was watching like dub voice actor Q&A panels from conventions on YouTube, because people would just upload like the full panels to YouTube to watch in like 3 parts. And so
yeah,
I remember watching one for Full Metal Alchemist, and it's Vic Mignogna, Laura Bailey, Travis Willingham, and someone asked Laura Bailey during the Q&A segment, can you do one of Sana's raps? And she goes, oh wow, no one ever asked about Koto-cha. And then Laura Bailey just does like this off the top of her head. She does the rap that one of the raps Sana does in the show.
That's funny.
And it's crazy that she still remembered that, but she did it right there. And I was like, that's so weird. So I looked up Sana rap because I didn't even remember what the name of the show she said was.
Yeah.
And I found it, and people had like clipped it on YouTube. It was in like 240p, but yeah. And that was how I found that show. So like interesting stories like that, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, and like he's talking about Sid Vicious here, and I guess I should have been paying a bit more attention, but that would be an interesting way to like approach it. Like start from the aspect of like these are band cultures that inspired it. These are cool bands. You remember this guy, you remember this band, and now imagine those bands have drama, and that's your anime that you're watching right now. You know, like it just takes a little bit of reformatting into a way that is a lot more exciting rather than just a clinical assessment that I'm kind of seeing here.
To also, Dylan, I see your SpongeBob, your epic SpongeBob reference. I'm not bald. I have a shaved head. Shaved, that's a hairstyle. I do want to say that I think me and Ben had this discussion because Ben was talking about so for context, Ben has the thickest fucking head of hair. And he doesn't even care. He doesn't give a shit. He's like, oh, I have all this hair gets in my face. It's so unmanageable. As he does all this this little woe is me shit.
I think you're taking me a bit out of context.
No, I'm portraying you exactly as you are.
Okay,
and he's like,
I guess you're right.
He's like all this thick hair I have is so unmanageable. I might just shave my head. And I was thinking about the what's that show? Curb Your Enthusiasm, where the trick-or-treaters spray paint like bald asshole on Larry's house, and he tells the cops this is a hate crime. And the cop is like a black guy with a shaved head, and he goes, "Sir, I'm bald, and I don't think this is a hate crime." And he's like, "With all due respect, sir, your hair is shaved. We don't consider you one of us."
Yeah. Okay. To justify myself real quick, I am poor now. I cannot afford haircuts on a consistent basis. It's hard to get. You
don't understand.
Do a lot of, like,
my hair is so thick it will get too long. This ice cream is just too tasty.
And also, I wanted to like make a point of, hey, guess what? I could shave my head. Shaved heads are cool. I could be like, solidarity and all that stuff. It'd be really neat. We could be like shaved heads, cool guys.
Yeah, shaving your head in solidarity with your friend who shaved his hair because he was losing his hair.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
It's fine.
I don't think it's a problem, is what I'm saying.
Ren, and Sid Vicious' like girl Nancy was supposed to be Nana. That's where they're from. And the punk rock scene was very influential in Nana because it's mostly punk rock, and that's why we see such Vivienne Westwood influence. Literally, I mean, I knew what Vivienne Westwood was before that. But I watched Nana, I was like, hold on, let me get that swag real quick. Bam, NC dropped Vivienne Westwood on me, and I think
I don't talk Gen Z. I'm sorry.
Well, I think it definitely shaped a lot of romance shows. I mean, you can really see Nana in Golden Time.
Hayden has shown me a couple clips from videos, not just from the Anime Men, where it's like, man, that's a lot of words I don't know.
It's good to learn them, though. You need to. It'll soon become the official English language, so we need to.
Okay, actually not by far.
We need to understand it.
Unk is chopped.
By far, it completely changed and warped my perspective of life. I would not be here today.
Dude, we eating good.
They do be eating good.
If you love music, heartbreak, amazing characters, beautiful designed characters, a very well-depth, just amazing story. Sorry guys, I just get very, very emotional when I think about Nana. It's just literally the greatest piece of fiction ever touched the planet. And I know Nana is, a shoujo, and it's for, younger girls. Or just
I think it's a shoujo and a josei, actually. You can keep playing the video. I'm going to just Google it real quick.
Sure.
I think the author writes guy characters better than guys can write guy characters. So I don't care if you're a guy, your fragile masculinity is telling you not to watch Nana. Just watch Nana. It would change your life. Look at me. It changed my life.
I'm looking at him. It changes life.
I guess it is shoujo. Okay.
And every morning when I've taken this train, it's been pretty boring, but ever since you came along, it's gotten just a little bit better. Honestly, I feel the same.
Cut! What are you guys doing? How can you even call it acting? Did you read the script?
Are they?
You're supposed to say it. Display even has a deal going on where you could get 33% off 1 or 2 displays.
Whoa.
And don't forget to mention how easy it
They
is.
have a Subway set.
Let's go for the top in 3, 2, 1.
Are you in need of some displays?
I believe they are.
That is,
Well, look no further. Because display and their metal posters
is there like a Subway set available for rent where they live or something?
Or they just have it available.
Yeah, they just own it. It's in the
it's for
in the back of one of their dad's
It's for when they play
something.
Spider-Man 2.
Take a look at this. Pretty good. So make sure
This
to
time
check
I
out
get to
this
be Dr. Octopus.
Now, where were we?
You know, this train ride has always been really boring. Welcome to the Orin High School Host Club. I am your host, Sam. And you might be thinking to yourself, Sam, what is a host club? What is Orin Academy? Well, allow my friend Tamaki to tell you.
The Oron Host Club is where the school's handsomest boys with too much
Uh-oh.
time on their hands entertain young ladies who
The
also
dub.
have
The
too much
dub.
time on their hands.
The Orin Host Club consists of these guys right behind me. Let's just introduce them. Tamaki, our club president, aka the King. His luscious blonde locks can woo even the most stubborn of girls. His charm is absolutely unmatched, but so is his love for not just our protagonist, but the other characters in the host club. Next is Kiyoya, the vice president, but in reality, he's like the shadow leader and like business guy, and he's always writing stuff for the host club.
Yeah, I think part of what makes this kind of like feel unnatural is the.
Sorry about that. I'm in Japan
Oh.
now. It's time to talk about.
Oh, I guess
They're so
if he's in Japan, it would make sense that they could. They probably are like lots of sets and stuff that would match a subway.
Do you think that was filmed in Japan?
I mean, if he's in Japan right now, and if you look at the subway footage, it looked like it had a whole bunch of like Japanese ads and stuff on it. So it
Oh, okay.
it wouldn't it didn't seem like it was a Californian thing.
You're right.
Unless they specifically altered it to have a bunch of ads on it, which I don't think they would do. So that's my guess.
I think that their place in the story is great, and they're so over the top. But now we're going back in time. Future Sam.
Why are they censoring those people? Did they commit crimes?
Classic Lolly incident.
Yeah, probably.
I know that this was something Hayden complained about. Is they used Lolicon instead of Shotokan for Honey Senpai.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean they just need to watch more Shotokan. It seems.
Right now, I'm wearing PJs and I have this is supposed to pretend this is a teddy bear. Pretend this is a teddy bear. I thought I could cosplay as Honey. I originally ordered an Orin High School Host Club suit, and it looked really cool, and I was so excited to wear it. But no, it got delayed. And you basically can't talk
The
about
Oron, you don't need to pause this or anything, but the Oron suit was like the most like
this tall, quiet,
cosplayed
stoic,
thing in the
tall
2000s.
guy.
Like
he's always
Oh, I could totally see it.
they were just
She's our main
everywhere.
character. She is my favorite character in the whole show. She is the only girl in the host club. Haruhi is, I think, the best part about this show. The way that she interacts with the other characters and almost like brings them down to reality is my favorite thing ever. I think a lot of people can relate to her. So basically some backstory about how Haruhi came to join the host club. Long story short, she ends up breaking a really valuable vase.
Had to censor faces of people in Japan because Japanese laws about filming in public. I assume that. Yeah, I assume that was the case, but
I was
I
messing
never
around.
heard it in so many words.
I was pretty sure they didn't
Yeah.
actually commit
I kind
crimes.
of know what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Oh, Sam, if the host club is a place where guys.
I mean, I always like I don't go out and film much, but I always just like assume like anyone who appears on film, you generally want their permission because you could get into trouble.
She walked into the host club, and basically all the girls that come into the host club think that Haruhi is a boy, just because they dress her in boy clothes. And because of these aspects, Haruhi is actually a popular character amongst those who identify as non-binary. But seeing how she doesn't really mind how people misgender her, I just see Haruhi as someone who doesn't care about what other people think of her. Like the light bulb thing is genuinely.
That's what I said
Yeah,
about.
another small example. Yeah, you go first.
I was gonna say that's how I felt about Kiriko from Heavenly Delusion, where people made a big deal about that they're transgender, but like they actually don't care about their gender. They say call me whatever I want. So I don't. It's not as simple as oh, you have this character is a transgender girl, and it's like no, it's a little bit more nuanced than that.
Yeah, it's kind of just like starting with like a lot of people like to start with their agenda is a strong word, but that's the best word I can think of right now.
Their notions, I guess.
Yeah, it's what they want it to be so that it can represent something that's empowering to them specifically, and then they see what they want to see in it, which I guess is a strong appeal of art. I mean, if you want to be empowered by that, by like the Kiriko kind of stuff and this character from Oron High School, like yeah, obviously. Like it's important if it resonates with you and you can get something from it, but you cannot claim it's a different type of story than what it wants to tell. So it's a balance that you need to have the nuance to understand, which is difficult to find on the internet a lot of the times. But what I was about to say was that I noticed with this, like he was talking about this girl specifically, and he started by saying, "Oh yeah, this girl character is awesome. She's really cool, and everyone should like her." And then, like half a minute later, explains the first details we get to know about her as an audience of this video. And I definitely think it's stuff like that where they just need to work on reformatting, rescripting, however they handle the video production process. They need to, in general, just find more interesting ways to present these types of things. It feels like if I'm trying to get someone into like JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, for example, I see people on all online talking about just like showing this cool wacky clip and being like, yeah, that's all these battles are. It's not just about punching each other. It's about this cool strategy with all these crazy techniques going back and forth.
Yeah, where all the characters have unique powers that don't sound like they'd be powerful, but they put their enemies in situations where it's like, okay, but now my very specific power makes me unbeatable in this situation.
Yeah. And for this one, it's just like, oh man, I grew really attached to this girl character who was like, it feels like so ahead of his time, and that she doesn't care much about how she's referred to in terms of gender and stuff like that. And but I just found it really sweet most of all, in that it's not necessarily reliant on her gender at all. It's just kind of just telling of her character, and that's why I think you should watch this, because X-Chan is in it and it's so cool. So I think it's just
her
like
name is Haruhi, but go on.
Listen, I didn't remember her name, and so it's just like, oh, of course, X-Chan. But yeah, I think it's just really just a matter of presentation at this point, and it's something they're very new at right now. So I don't blame them. It's just me analyzing, and like I'm an editor. I want to refine formats so that they resonate the best they can.
A popular character amongst those who identify as non-binary. But seeing how she doesn't really mind how people misgender her, I just see Haruhi as someone who doesn't care about what other people think of her. Like, the light bulb thing is genuinely hilarious. Like, how each member slowly realizes at different times that it's like, okay, this is a girl, this is not a guy that we thought.
You see, he's putting the light bulb thing last, when it's just like, oh, there's this cool light bulb metaphor, and that's the first point of intrigue for someone listening in to this video. Like, what's the light bulb thing mean? And then the reveal, and it's be like, oh, okay, I get it. I get what the appeal of this is.
Like, no joke or
But he only explains the light bulb after he tells you what the appeal should be.
And I think this is all due to how well Haruhi balances out like the rest of the guys in the host club. Because again, these guys are all like so stereotypically charming and crazy and dumb, and Haruhi
Hayden said, guess who told them about Haruhi non-binary theory? Was it Mr. Beast?
Oh, yeah. The most knowledgeable person?
Yeah.
Insane moments.
Most helpful person, sorry.
Most helpful human.
I just have one problem. The ending of this show is serviceable for something that will never get a season 2. You know, like it ends and then you're like, wow, that's satisfying.
Head writer Eric Vale, that's your problem.
Yeah, the dub credits.
Ending, like kind of similar to the Hunter x Hunter ending. Like the mangas for both series are like they kept going, but the anime is finished.
I thought the anime ending was fine.
I think the way that they end is like
or on host.
Yeah, the ending where it's Tamaki and Haruhi.
I'll be reading the manga.
Where they like grabs her and they fall in the water together. I thought that was a very good ending. I understand that. I never checked out the manga. I presume the manga goes on, but like I always felt like it was a case where the anime did what it needed to do, and if you wanted to see a different interpretation, like the manga is always there.
My gripe with Eric Vale, Dylan, is just the fact that he voices Sanji and he's not good at it, and the only reason he voices Sanji is because he's like one of the producers of the One Piece dub. That's it. But yeah, he said it was something like the One Piece, not the Hunter x Hunter ending, where the manga keeps going on. But yeah, the ending for the anime for Hunter x Hunter is also just like serviceable, but knowing there's more manga after it that either won't ever get adapted, or there's not
or not in our lifetimes.
Yeah. It's just like, okay, yeah, it is kind of disappointing that we'll never get to see that animated, you know. It's just kind of something that kind of weighs on it, even if it is a satisfying ending where it is.
Like, I'm not even joking. As soon as this recording is finished, I'll probably go. Actually, hold on. Do we have the books? I think we literally have the manga. Hold on. What do you know? We do have the manga. We're looking for an amazing shoujo. Even if you aren't a fan of shoujo.
Do you ever wonder if you have an entire manga series in your house and then you just happen to have it?
I think it's hilarious. I think it's
Happens to me all the time.
I think it's a little bit of just a bit of dramatic flair.
You think that was a little play to the camera?
Yeah, I think it might have been.
I can see that.
Do you think he knows he's in front of a camera right now?
You know what? You're asking the hard questions, but we need people like you.
All the Funimation One Piece actors were picked by Oda. That doesn't mean
lying.
They're the best.
You're lying and you're going to jail.
All of them were probably approved by Oda, in which case he heard their voice and didn't hear anything particularly offensive. But the subtlety across languages would obviously be lost on him. And I'm not going to go into it.
Oda loved the 4Kids dub, and he said he actually he asked them to cut the whale out. He said the whale was stupid.
It's like, I'm tired of that whale. I regret ever putting that in.
I like that your impression of Oda is J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah.
It's like he's fun and.
Imagine if the creator of Evangelion got to.
I've seen this segment like 6 times because Hayden edited it.
Well, you don't have to imagine. That's exactly what Karakano is.
Karikano.
Oh yeah, the Karikano opens with that warning because it aired right after the Pokemon shock.
Karakano's a super charming romance story while also combining.
Yeah, that was an issue with it where the TV network was like really strict with content, and it's presumably because it was right after the Pokemon shock, and Anno hated them for that.
Don't they still do things where if it's like things get a bit flashy, they
dim it
in post dim the screen? Yeah,
they dim it, and they'll have like all the Kamen Rider shows have like text on screen that say "watch in a well-lit room away from the screen."
Yeah,
I guess because those are aimed at kids and stuff, so they want to be extra careful.
Makes sense.
She's very impulsive, short-tempered, and a huge overthinker. But on the flip side, she's also the super energetic, expressive, honest, hardworking, and caring character. And she kind of reminds me of my girlfriend in real life. And then
dude, you're doxing your dog.
The most perfect dude of all time. He's the best at whatever.
I know what he looks like now. I can find him.
Snowball, you're done.
Kind, caring, noble, literally everything you can name. But in reality, he's the most flawed individual in the show. He puts on this perfect mask because of his past trauma, but in reality, he's a self-critical, desperate, and possessive figure who's just desperately yearning for connection and love and meaning. And don't get me wrong, the side characters in the show are also awesome. Whether it's Yukino's awesome family or Asaba, who I thought was in love with Arima at first, but he actually just wants to make the ultimate duo with Arima to get the most girls possible. I mean, hey. A dream's a dream, I guess. I don't know. Now for the visuals. Karakano's visuals are amazing and have a ton of stylistic and creative choices. The movement of the characters in some scenes are so cool, and
that looks like an Amaishi cut if I've ever seen one.
One episode that comes to mind is when they use
that's Amaishi
for all the characters. Yeah, fun fact about
that's fun.
People used to say like, "Oh, the show was so bad. There's an episode where they had to do paper cutouts instead of actual animation." And it's like when you watch the show, the paper cutouts is like the most creative episode, and it's like the best episode of the show. Like, just old dumb rumors.
You guys. Yep. Thank you so much.
There's a guy flipping off the camera.
Appreciate the creativity put into Karakano. And from experience, I really think certain limitations can actually lead to creating something even more creative and memorable. And I think Karakano is a perfect demonstration of that. Okay, hold up. I also forgot to mention the soundtrack. Karakano's soundtrack is one of the best I've heard in any anime. It's exceptional.
Yeah, because they stole a song from Tetsujin. They didn't steal it. They got the rights. I think it's the previously on Karakano is Shotaro's March from Tetsujin.
Since this music was composed by Shiro Sagisu, who also did all these anime.
Oh, no, can you pause it?
That's a lot.
Oh, yeah.
These anime.
So, you may notice I may have been a bit of an influence here.
Oh, yeah?
So, if you know, Shiro Sagisu's most iconic soundtracks are obviously Bleach and Evangelion. I think Megazone and the Skullman were my suggestions because he did do those soundtracks.
Okay.
But yeah, if you
look, he covered up the Skullman one because you only get 1.5.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that's fair. I don't deserve it.
Thanks a lot. Now for my review. Karkano was presented at first as
Oh wait, did the
Evangelion and
more
Bleach?
that popped up.
Evangelion and Bleach popped up.
That's a fun little
Now
little
for my review.
bit there.
Karkano was presented at first as a rom-com. It has a romance that progresses super quickly and is super realistic. There were times I literally watched Yukino and Arima interact, and it reminded me of my relationship that also started in high school. And I really think this is because not only the great writing, but also the super expressive animation that Studio Gainax's animators brought to this project. With that being said, Karkano is not only a simple romance and comedy, it's also a story of honesty, vulnerability, and self-acceptance. You get to see a lot of these characters' inner monologues and how they feel at that moment. It's kind of a lot like Evangelion. I wonder why. One of the standout episodes for me was about this girl named Tsubasa and how she grew up without a mother. And once her dad wanted to remarry, she just could not accept it. Not only because she's scared of change, but because she's scared of losing her father's love. And that's a story I actually hear from a lot of my friends who have divorced parents. But my personal favorite episode is actually about Yukino's parents. Throughout the show, you see Yukino's parents as not only super young, but just easygoing and supportive. At first, you just chalk it up to them being young, but then you see Koyuki's backstory and how he was raised without a mom and a dad and only his grandpa, and how his past carved him to be the man he is today. And it's super touching, and it made me actually bawl my eyes out.
Episode 16.
Okay, I'm just gonna.
I can't believe Karikano was watching the anime, man.
Shortcomings of this anime is
I
definitely.
don't think that was
I don't know
Karikano.
what I'm talking about if you watch it. It kinda sucks that we never got to see the manga story to the end, but the anime just ended in a way that I kind of felt was unsatisfying. But
I agree.
Honestly, you don't always need a conclusion to feel the impact of a story.
I agree.
Me,
Gainax
I
can't finish a
related
TV
to
show.
Arima's perfect task. In 2022, after only 1 year of starting the Anime Men, I decided to take a leap and drop out of college and quit my job. And I'm gonna be honest, it was absolutely terrifying. I did not know if it was gonna work out. This was super risky since Anime Men wasn't really making money at the time, and I kept putting on this brave mask in front of my friends to help motivate them. And I kept saying like, oh, we're gonna make it. Oh, things are gonna be okay. Everything will be fine. It's gonna be great. Dig straight to the heavens. You know, kind of like Kamina, right? But in reality, I was terrified. I would constantly have these feelings of kind of self-doubt.
I think I said Gainax can't finish a TV show. That's not true. Hideaki Anno can't finish a TV show. I want to.
I'm a failure.
Gurren Lagann has a proper
Stuff like
ending.
that. And just like Yukino was there for Arima in the series, my girlfriend was there for me to.
Then again, Corpse Princess also has a shitty ending.
Confront my issues.
I'll need to do more
And
investigating.
that's why I think I'm even at the spot I am today, and I really loved seeing that sort of characterization in this anime. Even despite the ending of this anime and it never reaching a conclusion, I 1000% implore every single person watching this video to at least give Karikano a chance. Like, hey, okay, if this was a tier list video, I would have given the first episode an S tier. It's
Nice.
awesome.
Check
It's
S tier.
awesome. You guys watch it.
Hell yeah.
That's it for the Shoujo video. It's awesome.
The iconic Guy Slugger.
Of course. But yeah, like again, I'm just gonna keep bringing up this point because I noticed it's something that I think would help a lot. But the fact that he did have this very personal story, and that it was just like tacked on at the end, it really could give so much weight to it to be like, I went through this in my life and I had people to help me, and that was very important, and the future is very unclear. Guess what that reminds me of? Guess what I felt when watching this particular anime was that. And I think it's just like it's a good way to just like prime people to want to connect with something they're just hearing about, you know?
It's a good point, yeah. Because I was like, I thought that was the best segment, but you're right. That probably should be earlier in the segment than.
Yeah, like I said, all the pieces are there, and
Yeah.
it was definitely better because it had such a personal story to it. The fact that it was there at all it was awesome to see. Yeah, this is just me analyzing, being like, what can they do to make sure they're maximizing the skills that they already have.
The whole anime is awesome, and I can't wait for you guys to watch it. Alright guys, that's it for the Shoujo video. Please at least watch one of these series because they're genuinely really good. And also on another note, we're probably not going to do a long form review type of video again unless you guys want it. But make sure to check out the new short form reviews that we're going to be doing soon.
And
Yeah.
Japan Arc's
And
coming
also,
out soon.
Japan Arc's coming out soon. Yeah.
Also,
Watch that.
Also, it looks like we're being held hostage.
We also kind of studied.
Okay, so it does look like they're not just sticking with this type of
Well,
format, which is good.
One of the anime men became Hayden.
Whoa, they did. But yeah, I'm glad that they're taking the time to kind of like experiment with it. They're not just locking into a particular format of video. I think that's where they could really go wrong with it. So I'm glad that they're like saying, hey, different types of videos, expect those to be coming up, and then they can like test around and see which ones resonate best with audiences. So I think that'll be helpful for them.
Hell yeah.
But yeah.
What are people saying?
Yeah,
in the chat.
Yeah. They were talking about like Gaussian blur on text for a while, and I
oh
didn't
my
fully
god,
follow
okay,
that conversation.
Whatever, you nerds.
The Karikonic bit was originally going to come right after the first review, but I thought it would work better at the end. I could see like it definitely is a good like cool down for because it's at the very end of the video. You kind of want something to just like end on a
strong
kind
ender,
of
yeah,
a strong note, yeah. So I totally get that part in particular. I just think as the format as a whole, this is just my thoughts on it. So I can understand why you would make that decision with the video as it currently stands, though. But yeah, it's just something. Yeah, that's all stuff that's just been on my mind, and I'm really hoping the best for them. And I can kind of just see that they could have trouble if they don't handle this right with such a big change that they seem to be wanting to go through. So yeah, that's something that I've been thinking a lot about. Again, if anyone in the Anime Maven is in the chat, or Hayden or Ayin, how do we pronounce that? If you notice that they're looking for editors, like genuinely, I'm invested.
Ben edits for, what are the channels you edit for? One is like really big. One's like 8-Bit Music Theory is like
8-Bit Music Theory is the one I typically work for, and also Skynix Art is one I've been recently working for. How to Draw Like a Sir, or Draw Like a Sir is just so they're pretty big channels. Like they've got a lot of weight behind them. Like I know how to keep up with that kind of stuff. So I've got my credentials, so that's not a concern there. But and yeah, I just think it's really exciting to see this kind of stuff, and I'm passionate about making videos. So I like to inspect what's going right and what's going wrong, and hopefully they stay on the right track and keep making good stuff.
And yes, Hayden, I do believe I will be at the Attack #1 group watch tonight.
Ooh.
I saw that come up earlier in the chat. Just wanted to respond to that.
Yeah, you fell behind. You were catching up.
I did feel behind. Just going through the chat. Cool. Yeah, I mean, well, and they need researchers. Well, that's the thing, is that like to an extent, because like with Hayden was saying, where we want to like make sure that they're not being, we've all seen the YouTuber who just says a bunch of rumors that they heard on the internet, makes a bunch of generalizations and does all that thing. So it's good that they don't do that, but we also want them to like be themselves. Like if like they don't come off as the person that would make like here's my super in-depth research video. So we don't want them to make that. But yeah, they do have people that are at least like checking their work just to make sure there's nothing egregious.
Yeah, I think it's good to have these people like Hayden on as consultants, but they definitely should make the videos they want to make. But like, yeah, it's and with my suggestions in particular, I'm like, I want you to emphasize your strengths, and I can tell that their strengths are this sense of excitement at finding something new and cool, right? That's my impression. I actually haven't watched much of their pre-transformation videos, so maybe I've got the wrong impression. But the fact that they came from TikTok and all that stuff, and the way they talk in terms of like this hype, this get excited for this particular thing.
They say words like aura and vibe.
Yeah. So it definitely gives me the impression that people like to watch these guys because they get excited about something, because they have this this enjoyment in finding something new and cool. So you can maximize that in different ways that I've been talking about. And so it's like, yeah, you don't need to become this very factually oriented video where you're just like John, your videos, they are basically just, and you've been getting much better at delivering them so that they're interesting to watch, but it is like a kind of stream of facts. And it's so that you can get as much information about the whole situation as possible. I don't think that's what the Anime Men's overall goal really is. So as long as they get their facts right, they really don't need too many of them per minute. You know, they don't need too many facts per minute in this. The FPM really doesn't need to be there.
And why can't they research it themselves? So they are doing like research and stuff for themselves. The people watching over are just to like keep them in line, because when you're new to making that kind of content, it's very easy to find, you find a post on the internet saying something, and when you're new to that kind of in that realm of research, it's hard to tell like, does this line up? Does this make sense? And so it's good to have.
It is kind of a rich get richer thing with in terms of knowledge, because you need to know enough to be able to spot what looks like good information, what looks like misinformation or poorly researched information.
Yeah. It's like there was someone I won't name names, but there was someone I was talking to that was like, oh yeah, this writer was on like every Ryosuke Takahashi show. Ryosuke Takahashi, they must be like Ryosuke Takahashi's best friend. And it's like, as someone who's like watched a lot of mecha shows and a lot of 80s shows, I can be like, actually, that writer is just on like every show in the 80s. And also the role of an anime writer is not what you would think of it in comparison to like a Western show writer, where we usually credit the writer as being the ideas person for the episode. In the realm of anime, especially for the Showa era, the director is like the mind coming up with the ideas. And there are even some productions where the writers have said, oh, I just wrote the dialogue. So with older anime, you can see how someone would make that misconception, right? Where they think, oh, this guy's written on like every show, he must be like this prolific writer. But it's like, no, you sort of need to know the environment. And that's where it pays to have people who are more knowledgeable in that area.
Absolutely. Like, just getting an expert opinion is always extremely valuable because of that just baseline of knowledge.
And this is something I tell people who are also wanting to be like, oh, I want to do like these research-based videos. It's like, always have someone check over your work. Like, I always send my scripts to people. I always send my videos to people, and I don't just send it to my friends to be like, oh, tell me I did a good job, even though I do that sometimes, like just a couple times maybe. But I'll reach out to people. Like I have this Robocon script that I know I've been saying I've been working on forever, but I sent it to Mike Dent because I was talking to Mike Dent. Mike Dent is Vintage Henshin, does like the liner notes for the Discotheque Tokusatsu releases. So him and I had been talking, so I just said, hey, I have this script for a Robocon video. Do you think you can look over it? And he says, yeah, I haven't seen Robocon, but I'll give it a look and point out anything I think is whatever. And even then, he said he'd never seen Robocon. He didn't think he'd be able to point anything out or give me any kind of advice. And he pointed out, like, hey, there's actually, like, you used the wrong name here. I actually have a segment where I talk about Keita Amemiya's Hokkaido movie. And I accidentally call him for that whole segment. In the script, I typed Akira Amemiya. Akira Amemiya is the director of the Gridman anime. But, like, I could totally see myself getting to the process of making that video and not even catching that I had called Keita Amemiya Akira Amemiya. But, like, you just got to have someone, like, a fresh set of eyes look over it.
It's so easy. Like, if I write up a script, it's so easy for me to just glaze over words, assuming they're correct, because that's how I thought I wrote them.
And I think I feel lucky that I sort of have an idea of like, okay, if I have if I'm doing doing this subject, I know someone who's like in this space who can do it. Like with Tokusatsu, I can go to Mike Dent, or with like if it's like a shoujo series or like a Guro. If I started covering Guro, I could go to Hayden. Hayden and Ouchie and those people are pretty great for getting feedback on. Hayden, especially with like, hey, there's like an editing error, or hey, this wasn't very, you said this line and it wasn't very clear.
Yeah.
Tons of stuff like that. I've talked to Steve-em a little bit, but I can't say I've gotten feedback from him, but he's also someone in the space, and I know for a fact he like does that where he like sends his videos to people. His videos are super highly researched. He does sources, but he does them the correct way. I just usually put like the book I got it from, and then like these are the pages. But he like cites them like, I guess how you're actually supposed to cite them in a research paper. I'm not.
There's like a.
I'm not as smart as him. I admit it. I have no like, not even going to try to act like I am. Yeah, him and his group of friends who are all like very like research minded. Like they're straight up like much more academic. They of course need feedback and people to look over their work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I started wondering a bit why, because you send me your videos sometimes, and I'm like, okay, I want to see if I can find ways to pitch in and critique things, like like I've been doing with the Anime Men here. This is just like a personal note, but I think the reason I haven't been able to offer that much in the way of critique is because it's like it's out of my depth insofar as eliciting a particular like emotional response, which is what I'm typically used to trying to strive for as a video creator, as a script editor, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that's kind of what where I fall flat there as far as giving the necessary critique. As just like me musing over the fact that like why am I not helping John out with his videos as much as I feel like I can contribute to videos like this where they're trying to convince people to watch stuff and stuff like that, whereas yours is just like it's purely factual. I think in general it's just as long as you present it well in a way that's easy to digest and with your particular writing style, your sense of humor and all that stuff, as long as you can find the right balance of that, like it's hard for me to think of much else to add to it,
Yeah, no, I get it, and I understand. It's like sometimes my mom will be like, oh, you made a video, can I see it? And I'll like warn her ahead of time, like this is like thematically dense, like this is all like
yeah, it is very dense.
It's gonna be like you're not gonna understand anything I'm saying.
Yeah, like the thing is, if your goal was to try to introduce normies into this kind of into these kinds of things, then obviously I'd be able to provide more help with that. But I don't even think that's necessarily your goal.
That's something I've thought about myself, where I do feel like my content is made for people who are in their second step into the anime fandom, where I talk to I hear from a lot of younger people who like my videos are, funny enough, people who remind me exactly of myself when I was like 19, because there'll be kids who are like, I say kids because 19 is a kid to me. They'll be like, yeah, all my friends are just into like solo leveling and like whatever the popular thing is, but I actually think older anime are better. And like, that's exactly how I was at that age, right?
Yeah, this kind of desire to look past the surface level stuff and find new and different things.
Yeah, so I do get the sense that my videos are less for attracting like a mainstream audience to look at something weird and bizarre, and more so like, hey, if you're already into anime but you want to go a little deeper, this could be your gateway to getting there and learning about it.
Yeah, I think that's why, in particular, I was best suited to edit the 2 videos for you that I did, the Yu-Gi-Oh one and how it relates to other popular anime or unpopular anime. It's kind of like Yu-Gi-Oh as a gateway to these things that inspired it from farther back. And also introducing people to Kimo Fujin, this very obscure
indie manga,
amateur indie manga, yeah. So those were the ones I was best suited to handle. That's fascinating. And I feel like I did like encourage you plenty of times to be like, hey, if you want to make more videos like the Yu-Gi-Oh one, maybe you could do one about like Sanji's family in One Piece. You can talk about how
I will talk about the tokusatsu references in that arc once I get there. It'll be out when it's out.
There, yeah. we do need to get to that point. Now that I've got a bit more time after becoming an editor full time, we're gonna watch One Piece. I'm gonna force you.
Okay, you don't need to force me. I'm interested.
Nope, I'm still gonna force
okay,
it.
that's fine. That's
Always
fine.
got to force it.
That's fine. Let's see. I imagine so. Funya Rinpa Foundation. I know that that's like a group, but I assume that you are Truth.
Yeah, Truth is a member in that group, so we know. So I would assume so.
So I would assume that that is Truth who is talking. I saw JT Vegas said finding translator, but I don't know what that was in relation to.
I think in the baseline knowledge of people, of experts in the scene, and
Oh
why they're
yeah, and,
valuable.
yeah. No, I mean we're lucky because we have multiple people that speak Japanese at our disposal. I'll say.
Readily accessible.
I mean, when I started getting stuff translated for my videos, which was like 2021, it was like finding Windy was a godsend because like that was like my first time I met someone who could speak Japanese and could actually like translate books, and that was like throughout the 2010s there were like the Toei Fushigi comedy series, for example. That's one of my favorite videos I ever made because there was no information on those shows on the internet, and that includes like the Japanese internet. Like the Japanese Wikipedia pages were barren. They just had like air dates basically. And so when I found that book that had like Toru Hirayama talking in detail about every show he worked on, that was like that was such a proud moment for me to be able to like talk about those shows that no one had talked about before and that no one even really knew anything about. So like, yeah, having access to like Japanese sources is great. And like even now, like I have a Kindle, and you can like I have a Kindle on my desktop, and like you can get Japanese, like they call them MOOCs because it's a magazine and a book, but they have like interviews and stuff, and you can just read those on a Kindle, and you can literally just Control A, copy all the text and send it straight to someone, and then just be like, hey, can you translate this?
That's easy.
So fucking quick, so easy, quick and easy. So yeah, just having Windy at first in 2021 and now 2025, we got I'm still in contact with Windy. I don't hear from her as much because she got banned from Twitter. And so she got banned from Twitter, and she's also in Russia, which is a country that was hard to make transactions with.
Yep.
A lot of stuff going on in that. I'm not sure if you heard, but yeah, a lot of stuff going on in that country.
I heard something about
you may have heard
Russia
a little
once.
little droplets of information. But now we have like Hayden is using overworked salaryman who like does translations in exchange for like editing jobs. Like Hayden edits his videos and does translations as payment.
Mm-hmm.
We have Ouchie, who was a teacher in Japan, English teacher. And he's like, so if I just like have like a quick thing, I can always just be like, hey, this is just like a quick easy thing, and just him translate it for me. We have Yume, who I've been talking with Yume more recently. They're a translator that a lot of fan subgroups have used. They're great to talk to, and I love to just like we're okay. Big announcement, guys. We might be dropping more subs for Mask Ninja Akakage.
Whoa.
Yeah. Watch it under the Hayden fan subs banner. You might be seeing those soon. But I've been talking to Yume, who's like I said, a translator on a lot of fan subgroups. Like I think they do like Inca subs and maybe some other groups. But and I've just been like going over things like I know one thing in our Akakage subs I wasn't sure because we called the villains in the subs. These subs were initially, we did 4 episodes in like 2022 and then abandoned it. But we had called the villains they're called like the Kinmei something, but we translated it as Golden Eye Cult, and I was never really sure about that translation because I felt in my head I was like, okay, well if it's a proper name, Kinmei, shouldn't that stay in Japanese? So it should stay Kinmei, and then I felt like it should have been Kinmei Sect, because I feel like a group wouldn't call themselves a cult because they would be portraying themselves as evil. But with Yume, I was actually going over it and like asking them things like, what do you think about this? And they were actually explaining how now there is like there's actually like historical context, because in No Theater, which No are like the masks, like the Japanese masks, and in
like it's spelled like NOH.
NOH, yeah,
Romanized.
In No Theater, golden eyes are actually like representative of demons, so the name is meant to have a very easily noticeably evil name, and the group does not hide that they are evil. So GoldenEye Cult is actually like a perfectly fine translation, especially because there's no like, it isn't like a character's proper name, it isn't Kinmei, so it's like GoldenEye Cult is actually better. But I've just been running things by Yume to make sure that their release is good. But yeah, we have a lot of people who speak Japanese now, so it's pretty great.
Nice. That's really cool.
Oh, I can I guess now if the video's over, I can play background music again, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Kabuki? No, they specifically said No Theater, or no play. They said it was specifically no, not Kabuki. I don't know. Maybe they're the same thing. I'm just going by what they said. They are more knowledgeable than I am. I could possibly be interpreting it wrong, but. Are those subs coming along? Got a planned release? So funny. I mentioned this to Hayden that I originally wanted to drop the new subbed episodes that Yume did in the last week of October, because I wanted it to coincide with that new Masked Ninja Akakage TV drama they're doing, which is directed by Takashi Miike, because I was actually really excited about that. What made me not care about getting it in on time to coincide with that release is that I watched the first episode of that Masked Ninja Akakage show, and it was bad, and so now I don't care. I care about the subs for the anime, but I don't care about you. I was hoping that, like, oh, if I like this, Akakage TV drama, we can release the subs and then also tell people, like, hey, you should also check out this TV drama that's pretty cool. But then the TV drama was not pretty cool, so I didn't care. But we're still working on the anime, but I'm gonna wait until there's like probably like 12 episodes, so we can do a batch. So we'll do like the first batch of 12 episodes, and then maybe the show is 23 episodes total, so maybe I'm not sure, maybe just once we release those first 12 to show people like, hey, we're back up and running, just wait until it's done and then release it all as like one complete batch after that. That's what I'm thinking. Yume right now is I think the last episode they said they completed was 9, so it would be like 10, 12, so like 3 more episodes they'd have to complete before we do our first like batch, and that would also be the first 4 episodes that we did in 2022 are going to be like updated, because there's a couple of things that Yume pointed out that we're gonna adjust. Just bear with us, because Akakage is an 80s anime by Toei, so the audio is not in great condition. So, but we are trying our best to make sure that everything is accurate. And Yume has picked up a couple things that's been like, oh, we need to change this, adjust this here.
Just a little bit I've seen from Ayin, I don't know how to pronounce it, a while back. I told the guys I kind of want to view them like a nostalgia critic, where the content, this is for the anime men, where the content isn't the greatest analysis-wise, but 10 years' time, people will tell them they started anime because of them. I really think that's kind of the crowd that they should be shooting for, making it accessible, and they just need fact-checkers to make sure they got the right information for it and are giving it the respect it needs.
Yeah, so
I think that's where they would shine.
Like with the Karikano thing, like it was mostly just like that I don't actually know the anime men specific names. I know some of them have names, but I don't know what all the names are. But the one that did Karikano was mostly just talking about what he felt, but at the same time, it's good to have a fact checker, so that way they don't stumble into the very easy pitfall of saying that Gainax and the manga author have this horrible relationship, because that's a very easy pitfall because of all the rumors that are on the internet that say that, and they're not true. And so that's why it's good to have fact checkers to be like, hey, I know you've probably seen like 30 posts about how the manga author hated the adaptation and Anno stepped down as director because they had disputes. That's not true. That's good to have. It's good to have someone there to let you know that.
Yeah. And if you got the resources for it, for a fact checker, it's definitely a good idea.
Ben, can you take the reins? I need to pee.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so be like very funny while I'm gone. Also,
yeah.
Also, if you want a soda while I'm gone.
Nope, I don't have any soda available.
Okay, well I'm gonna pee then. I'll be right back. Be really funny for me.
Do it. I'm contrary to John's request. I'm not going to be funny. I'm just going to be easy listening Ben. Here to listen to you and to talk to you and to draw comics. Yeah, right now, again, for those who have joined after we've been watching through the Anime Men video, I'm just kind of going through and drawing my comic right now. It's called Level Go Up. It is a funny take on those kind of like progression style of animes, like Solo Leveling specifically. So I just wanted to goof around with that, and I ended up getting really invested, and now I'm making all this really detailed art, just because I like I don't know, it's something so comforting about hatching, that I just always do it and add so much depth to these things now that they look overproduced. Thank you, Dylan, for posting that in the chat. It's a good paper trail for when John gets back to know that I'm funny. But yeah, I don't know how many people here are interested in manga specifically. John's about the anime history, but I'm kind of like the manga guy. I haven't honestly read as many manga as I would like, but I love the style. I want to make comics more than anything, and so I read like some Shonen Jump series and stuff like that, and I'm just like, oh man, that's really cool. I want to make comics like that, and then I do. I'm much less detail oriented than John. Our conversations are typically pretty diversive, specifically because of that. I think that's kind of why we play off each other well for streaming and stuff. Speaking of which, if you haven't seen our previous stream together, you can go to my channel, 1000 Stupid Words. And we talked there once or twice, and we'll be doing that plenty more because I'm streaming twice a week on Mondays and Wednesdays. And if I don't have anything going on Monday, then I will probably ask John to come on. So make sure to check out my talks with John there. And that is why the chicken crossed the road.
Oh, I'm back.
And that is why the chicken crossed the road. So, oh, hi, John. I didn't notice you were there. Yeah, everyone was just saying how funny I was.
Dude, I heard you were
chat,
so funny. You make people want to merge without looking.
Dude, you're not a fan of the Undertale Deltarune stuff, but the fact there have been remixes online of people just like remixing the entire all these like battle tracks with that one scene from Family Guy, and I always laugh at those. Roshi Zoro, I had a hard time reading that. I read a lot of modern manga, specifically reading One Piece, Chainsaw Man, Kaiju number 8. I really want to read the mangas of Kamen Rider, Cutie Honey, and Mazinger. Yeah, I've read One Piece and Chainsaw Man. I haven't read Kaiju number 8 because I hear so many mixed opinions about it. I don't think John likes it.
I'm personally
There's
not
a friend
fan.
of mine who reads, who's like read every single manga known to man practically, and he's like, man, I kind of want you to read Kaiju number 8 and tell me I'm not crazy for hating it. So it's like,
are you talking
that's
about
not a glowing endorsement?
Are you talking about Koi?
Yeah, Tyler Koi.
Okay, that's funny. I didn't know he hated Kaiju number 8. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I won't kill him. I changed my mind.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
So, and I tried reading older manga, and I did have a lot of success with why am I blanking on the name? It's Streamer Brain. It always catches
Ashita no
me.
Joe?
Ashita no Joe. That's it. Yeah, I love that. genuinely worth it. I found it, as far as like a manga in particular goes, I found it very interesting just how out of fashion a particular style of paneling goes. And just as a bit of an example, you're still sharing my screen, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did.
Okay.
See, it's funny. I did see my screensaver because it's Sally the Witch being chased by a mole, and I did see that pop up for a second, but it's fine.
Yeah, so they have like panels like this that are like these L-shaped panels, and I find them so fascinating. And I absolutely know why they went out of style, because it's difficult to tell where you're supposed to read, and also it's just like, how many scenes fit this L-shaped thing really, unless you're forcing it. It's like, okay, you're meant to read this way or this way because it's in right to left in manga, but then you go down here, or are you supposed to read all this one panel at once and then go back up here? That's the counterintuitive. It's like such a weird panel and does not help the reading process. So, but it was fascinating to see that in Ashita no Joe, and made me think about why panel layouts are the way they are now. So it's a very fun learning experience. Ashita no Joe is pretty modern IMO. It doesn't have the usual 50+ episode TV anime issues.
It's 79
Is that about
episodes.
the anime in particular?
It's 79 episodes. Oh, are you saying like,
Well,
despite
the 50+ episodes, like anything more than 50 episodes? In that, I don't know, production issues that come along with
what?
Things that need to air every week of the year or something.
I'm confused. What are we talking about?
That's what someone in the chat was saying. House 888. Ashita no Joe is pretty modern IMO, doesn't have the usual 50+ episode TV anime issues.
Oh, okay. I guess like feeling like bogged down, or like
yeah, or like stretching things out, or or having weird production issues because of the fact that they need to produce an episode every week of the year.
Yeah, it doesn't fall.
Like
it doesn't fall into the, when Fist of the North Star, where they there's a point where they just do like 4 recap episodes in a row.
Yeah. But yeah, very, very good as a manga though. I didn't know about the whole Rikishi thing, and I won't spoil it because genuinely, if you don't know it, then it is worth reading because of that. Because I didn't know about it, and then I read it in the manga, and I was like, Jesus Christ, this is like the most impactful thing I think I've read from manga in the past few years. And it just like the way it was like presented was so well done. Very inspiring. Good comic art can tell you where to read by how the art is drawn, but you have to be skilled to work with a panel like that. Yeah, it takes a lot of the way I think about it personally. This is Ben's art time. The way I think about it personally is that within each panel is a piece of artwork that has things like composition. You've heard of things like the rule of thirds, where you want to put the main focus of something 1/3 of the way through the panel. Like for this example here, for this panel right here, it's hard. I need to choose a there. This top panel here, you can see it's like, okay, if we divide it into thirds, this is the left, this is the right, this is 1/3, and this is 3/3. You can see I put the face on the 3/3 mark. That's the rule of thirds composition. You typically want to do that with anything with that's artistic, with film, whatever. But so within the panel, you want to follow those kinds of compositional rules to make it easier for the to make it look better and make it easier for people to see. But within the page as a whole, that's also a full piece of art that you need to be aware of the composition for. And so it's fascinating. That balance is what really gets me excited about drawing comics in particular, rather than just single illustrations, is that there's a
flow,
a multitude of it. Yeah, and a flow of it. Yeah.
When you zoomed out, I didn't realize, but your art here has so much more depth than it used to.
Yeah, I was talking about that, and specifically because I got into, like, I love hatching, and that's this where you just use all these lines to convey shadow rather than coloring in like a grayscale or whatever you would use, or actual colors. And then when I get really into a panel and I just want to like zone out and just kind of draw something without thinking too much about it, I start hatching. And so I started going into that and doing that. And because I did so much hatching here in different like depths of it, you can see I've hatched darker around here to show that's a bit darker there. But then there's a standard level hatching around the side of the face. There's so many different layers now of depth and texture that the image itself looks more 3D. It looks more like real in that way. So it's not necessarily specifically that that I've gotten better at anything. It's just that I spent more time on this hatching and just like overworking it. So, but I will take the compliment. I am happy with how this came out.
Yeah, it looks good.
This is kind of the. You'll notice there was supposed to be text in these panels, but I took them out because I don't want to spoil it. It's a funny joke, and it's kind of like this is the page that I thought of when I wanted to start this comic. So I'm working on it now.
And
that's why I'm putting so much time into it.
So this is you already did like a pilot chapter, right?
Yeah, basically it's like I think 16 to 18 pages, and for manga you actually typically see a pilot chapter starts with 50 something pages, because based on how story structure is typically done with manga and anime for that matter, it typically takes about 50 to 54 pages to properly tell the type of story that's a very typical kind of structure. And that's what's afforded to mangaka for their first chapters typically. So I've gotten used to making shorter stories, but when I wanted to make a full like introduction to this, I started with the 18 pages and I just like left it off on what I thought was a funny joke, but that didn't like complete a story of any kind. And so I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna make a more standard like 50-ish page chapter and call that chapter 1. So the prototype chapter itself is on my Twitter. It's pinned at 1,000 stupid words, so you can see that yourself if you want to. I genuinely think it's one of the funniest things I've made. And so I will be adding on to that to make the full chapter 1. I'll finish that up pretty soon here, because this is about at the climax.
I also want to just give a personal shout out to so I've historically complained about if I tweet that I'm watching a show, someone will just reply going, but what about that, and then just spoil something in it.
Oh yeah.
So I want to give a shout out to me saying I'm halfway through Sword Art Online and I actually think it's pretty good. So for context, when Sword Art Online came out, I watched the first episode and said it was bad because it was the new thing, and I was big on pooping on the new thing. I wanted to watch it because it was so popular, and I still see people bring it up. I was like, all right, let me actually like sit down and watch it, try to get a good faith viewing of it. And I actually like it quite a bit. It doesn't lean too much into video game stuff, which I think I've heard people complain about, but it's like, no, it's as Ben, you were actually the one to put it, like, yeah, it's not so much like a video, it's more like a story. But
yeah, turns out.
Yeah, I'm actually enjoying it, and I like that there's actually this period where Kirito and Asuna like stop trying to fight their way out of the game and just sort of live a domestic life where they're living together. I think that's really interesting. And so I tweeted that, and someone immediately just spoils a character's, like, the reveal of a character's, like, fate, I'll say. And it's just like, man, you just, it's the one that I always bring up is the Victory Gundam one. When I was watching Victory Gundam, I tweeted that like, oh, this character just died and it's really surprising to me. And someone literally just replied like, don't worry, she comes back later in the show. I was like, thanks, man. Really the most egregious spoiler you could just give someone is literally just all you say is, don't worry, she comes back. But someone did that with Sword Art Online, and I quote retweeted it saying, thanks, man. And then they blocked me. I think I said thanks for the spoiler, man, and then they blocked me.
Yeah. I just like imagine the people who do that just don't think about it. Like, and that's my good faith interpretation is that they just don't think about it, and it's just like, oh man, I'm excited about this story. I can't wait to tweet to this this person I've seen online and whose stuff I might like or whatever, and tell them something I know, and then they realize when you tweet back at them, thanks for spoiling that. You're like, oh God, no, I ruined everything, and I'm gonna block him now. I can't see him anymore. that's like the best case scenario.
Very Ideon coded.
Of course, I know what that is.
You did, Ben. You watched Ben. You watched the final episode of Ideon.
Yeah, well, I passed by as you were watching.
No. I think we were gonna watch One Piece together, and I was like, sure, once I'm done with this Ideon episode, and it was the last episode, and you sat down and you watched it with me.
I might have, yeah.
You may have done the classic Ben, like, crosses arms, intentionally tries not to pay attention.
I mean, kind of, because I was like, I don't know, I'm not going to be invested in it because of the fact that I have no context for any of it. So it's just like, yeah, I'll just I'll appreciate it for the art and whatever, and I'm not going to like focus much on what's happening actually. So yeah, like of course I'm not going to retain much of that. And plus I hate anything that's older than the 1990s, so it's stupid and I hate it.
It's funny that you choose the 90s because that is like I've met people who are like, me and Shapes were talking about this. It's like people who, if an anime's in 4:3, it's like, oh no, I can't touch that. So I really think it's just like people struggle with stuff that's made before the year they were born.
That's true. And I don't necessarily, as someone who came from that and who's learned to be a bit better about it, I don't blame anyone who does that. I know you have irritations with them, but you're generally as open-minded as you are, as you can be. But I just like keep thinking, yeah, they don't. I don't know. I want to defend it by saying like, well, there's a lot of context that comes with understanding the appeal, the inherent appeal of a show, and not just like how well it's written and stuff like that, but like delinquent culture and stuff like that in Yu Yu Hakusho. Like, I don't know. It's like, unless that's like the first thing you've read it as a kid, like with me, would you find it that appealing if you watched it and there was just like no media that's like similar to it, and there's no like references to similar aspects in other modern shows that you've watched? Like, it's hard to even describe, but
I think that Yu Yu Hakusho is an interesting example because for a lot of people that was like their second anime after Dragon Ball Z.
Oh yeah.
So like, I think a lot of people did go in without context, but you can also argue that it is similar enough to Dragon Ball Z in just the idea, in alone, like to in the fact that it is a early 90s Jump battle shonen series. I think that ties it enough.
Maybe Yu Yu Hakusho isn't the best example because Dragon Ball Z is so prevalently popular and is so similar to that. But another show that's equally as old that is not similar to a modern day anime, it would be so much harder to relate to that. You know how like music throughout the generations is kind of inspired by the previous generation? Like, I always wonder how music would develop if people weren't influenced so directly from the previous generation. And it's just like, it makes me think like so much of artistic culture is contextual to the world we live in. And it's fascinating to think like the greatest piece of art that someone could make in our time would mean nothing if society collapsed and was later rebuilt 200 years later, because none of it would have the context of the media that media and the mindsets of people that came out in that time.
Yeah, I mean, it's like when you, like I was telling Tyler, not Tyler, Caden, if we used to do a drawing show with a friend named Caden. We don't hate him or anything, but he's making a comic. He did a Kickstarter, so he's been super busy. But telling Caden how like with your name, and explaining to him that like, oh, the big thing at the end is where it he was complaining it felt like it came out of nowhere, and explaining it to him that it's like, well, it's supposed to be like drawing from the 2011 earthquake, where a catastrophe comes out of nowhere and just, it's supposed to be, all of Makoto Shinkai's movies are about the 2011 earthquake. But like, you have to remember it through that context of, this is a response to the most costly catastrophe Japan has experienced. I've been watching a lot of, I've been really interested in Shinrikyo, and so I've been watching anime from like the late 90s to early 2000s that are like drawing from the anxiety of the Shinrikyo attack on the subway. And there's a lot of stuff that, when read literally, seems to make no sense. Same thing with like, there's a anime I picked up called Saikano, which I talked about a bit on Twitter, and it was released over here as with the title She the Ultimate Weapon, and it's about a guy who starts dating a girl, but it turns out that she is like a human weapon modified by the Japanese Defense Force to basically go into combat whenever Japan is attacked, and Japan is apparently being attacked regularly. And like, if you watch, like, that show has a lot of negative reviews because people watch it very literally, but it is meant to be a commentary on 9/11. So like, there's stuff like that. Yeah, I guess that's an example of stuff where even in its time, people didn't really understand it.
Yeah. But that's something I'm always thinking about with older anime. It's just like, is this something that's not good? Well, I never think that, because my first thought is just like, I probably don't have the context for this. I probably don't understand the appeal to this, because there's some understanding that people in this era of time, or people in this subculture had, that I do not. It's hard for me to just say a piece of media is bad because of that.
I do think having that historical context, like, I've definitely felt like there were shows where I didn't like them, and then like, oh, I learned more about the context behind them, and it made me go, oh, well, I can't say I suddenly like it, but I'm definitely more interested. Maybe I'll rewatch it with that in mind, see if I feel differently.
Yeah, I think that kind of conclusion is what I came to when thinking about whether or not Yu Yu Hakusho. I think that's probably why I brought that up as an example. Why Yu Yu Hakusho shouldn't get a remake is because it was like, I don't know. First of all, it was already animated. The story was already told. The characters were already presented. All done extremely well.
Yeah. The anime, so, what do you complain about it with the anime? Really?
Yeah, what went wrong with that anime for you to need to redo it? And even then, like, if it was recreated, would it be appealing in this day and age? Because I just come off of the Shaman King reboot, and that thing was not fun. And I think the big part of the problem with that one in particular was that they cut some of the early chapters, and I think those were
they rearranged chapters to be ordered like chronologically as to when the events happened rather than when they appeared in the manga.
I think they also just like literally, I checked the manga, they skipped like chapters 2 through 5 because it was all like one-off stories about like solving problems with what was his ghost name?
Oh, I forget. I was gonna say Morty, which is the guy, the four kids name of.
No, I was thinking about the actual ghost. It's like the old samurai ghost, but it's like solving problems with him, and it kind of like starts to show you the bond between them. Instead, they skipped right to I think Ren is like the main rival guy.
Lenny.
For that first sec.
I know the. I only know the four kids' names.
But he's like the first main rival, and they obviously wanted to jump right to that because that's where like the actual chapter to chapter or episode to episode continuity starts.
Mm-hmm.
But they just skipped over some essential things. So maybe it's not exactly apples to apples when I say, oh, it doesn't play to a modern audience. I don't know if that's exactly true. They might have just botched it.
Mm.
But that was on my mind.
But yeah, like with Yu Yu Hakusho, the anime is excellent, and I don't believe they could top the 90s anime for Yu Yu Hakusho. It's incredible. It's
Yeah. I in particular, like Togashi is well known for having a very inconsistent style. He's always adjusting what his art looks like. And I think the fact that the animation direction is so loose for Yu Yu Hakusho is a huge strength of adapting a Togashi work, because then you see stuff like Hunter x Hunter 2011 where it's a very strict character design, and like they have to stick to the character sheets. They do not go off model. And
it's got the new Simpsons problem.
Yeah, and it does not play to Togashi's style, because he really warps the characters' facial expressions, the general style of the line work, and everything like that to really sell an emotion. And there's just like one panel where it's like this devastating look from Karapika as he's going through this very personal, upsetting journey. And he's just like looks at a guy and intimidates him, this mob boss, into like backing down from yelling at him. And it's just like this generic angry anime face in the 2011 anime, and it just does not play. Especially not compared to the manga, where he does this really loose line work and weird hatching and like a fisheye lens, and that emphasizes the eyes in this weird distorted way. And it's just a shame that that they couldn't do anything to make that look cool.
You know what anime I think would do well with a remake that was just like closer to the vein of the manga? Gachi Akata.
I know. Yeah, when's that getting a remake?
Yeah, can we get a remake that's like closer to the art style of the manga? Someone in the chat said Flame of Recca, and I do wonder how I would feel about Flame of Recca if it had a more accurate remake, because while I hated the 90s Flame of Recca anime, with the exception of the ending where it was so bad I laughed because they had to kill off two characters who are in the manga had a whole arc. And so they just have one run the over with his car and explode, so they both die. Hilarious. We were dying in the group watch. Another Flame of Recca. They didn't have enough episodes, so during the final tournament, one of the main characters from like the final bad guy team steps into the arena and says, "Let's just get on with the final fight, eh? I forfeit. Let's move on." And I remember seeing that and going, there's no way that's in the manga. There's no way. And so I pulled up the manga, and sure enough, it is a legitimate fight. They have an actual fight in the manga, but the anime didn't have enough episodes, so he literally just goes, "I don't even want to fight you. I forfeit. Let's go to the final fight because we ran out of episodes."
That's great. That's great. nothing or just saying, yeah, not my thing, as
Boring.
you can make a conversation out of that. Yeah.
The guy that mentioned Gosh Bell, it's funny, if you like Gosh Bell, you should follow this guy on Twitter. That's his Twitter. His account is called Zatch Bell Updates, which makes you think it would just be like a bot that like updates you when a Zatch Bell thing happens, but it's run by a guy who genuinely loves Zatch Bell. And I think that it's really funny to me how like passionate he is, and in a good way. I've always said like my favorite YouTube channels.
You always say
my favorite YouTube channels are the ones where someone just has this absurd interest, like obsession with something. Because he'll be every time a manga group on Twitter is like, they'll always post things like, tell us what things you want to see licensed, and he's like always on it, being like, you should license Gonjiki no Gosh Bell, and he does his little pitch for why they should license it. So I see him tweet that all the time, and it's really funny because he cares so much. There was he also, this is what I really like, is that he hates the anime. So I remember one time he posted thing where it was like, Gosh Bell has already been translated into French, Portuguese, and so languages. Be sure to let your these anime manga licensors know that you want to see Gosh Bell in physical print in English. And someone replied, oh, Gosh Bell is so cool, I used to love that anime. And he replies, the anime is terrible, read the manga.
Great. Just like immediately turning on one person who sees something somewhat similar to
you. He had a video where he was like talking about why he loved the manga so much, and he's like, yeah, and the anime is really bad. I know you're gonna be in the comments, you're gonna tell me how much you love the anime. I don't care. In his defense, I had only seen Zatch Bell as a kid dubbed. So I did watch like 3 episodes of the anime subbed because I wanted to like, I thought maybe I'd never like finished it even dubbed. So
John, have you ever seen Submarine 707 based on the manga from '63? It's unfinished and like the '60s character designs clash with his double O's designs, the 2000s design. I don't know how you'd say that. And it's unfinished. It wasn't very good.
No, I haven't. I for a second I thought you were gonna say like Super Submarine 99, which I did a partial watch of. I watched like the first 4 episodes when I did my Akira Tsuburaya thing, because with the Akira Tsuburaya one, I planned to watch every series, and they are so fucking bad, man. I completed Genma Wars, which I made had its own separate video as well. I completed Genma Wars, Gun Frontier, Babel II, Cosmo Warrior Zero, and then I watched 5 episodes of Demon Lord Dante, and I was like, I can't do this. I can't watch all of these because they start getting worse. They get worse. I watched 5 of 13 episodes of Demon Lord Dante, and then I dropped it and moved on to. I watched 1 episode of Baram 1 because Baram 1 didn't even have subs, so I just watched the first episode raw. So I watched 1 episode of Baram 1. I watched 4 episodes of Submarine Super 99, and that one is actually very noticeably better than the rest. Like towards the tail end, they really picked it up, but it's a little too late, I think. I'm trying to think what were other shows that he did. Most of them were like Leiji Matsumoto ones. Super Submarine. Wouldn't consider Kamui raw because the way I watched Kamui was that it had English subtitles, but they were translated from the Spanish dub, and the Spanish dub is fairly accurate, but as I was watching it with those subs, I did have to listen to the Japanese to hear any differences from what was being said than what was in the subtitles. And there's also like very like I would describe it as like very mechanical translations of things. So, you know, I really had to pay attention, but I also think that made me enjoy it more because I like had to devote myself to it. Yeah, Ben, to tell who we are, Ben is the one wearing the skull mask and I'm the raccoon.
Don't you go lying. Don't you go fibbing and gaslighting like you do on Twitter.
Oh, you know
Keep that to
you
Twitter.
know,
It's a sacred place.
Yeah, that's where it's a safe space for gaslighters.
Yeah. I can't. Yeah. This was with Roshi Zoro. Listen, I'm the cool one. I'm with Ben. I'm 1000 Stupid Words. Go to my YouTube channel, 1000 Stupid Words. I stream there sometimes with John, but mostly it's just me because I'm cooler than him.
interest is like laser focused on Ishinomori. So like I've seen like the Showa era Kamen Riders, Inazuman, Kikaider, the Kikaider 1, Kikaider 01, I should say. And I've seen like I've watched the Toei Fushigi comedy series Raw, and I've watched a bunch of Robocon Raw, which I haven't seen all of Robocon, but it's 108 episodes, and I've watched a ton of it. And then but I haven't seen stuff like I haven't seen like the Metal Hero stuff. I have seen like hardly any Ultraman. I watched a bunch of the original Ultraman dubbed like way back. I've seen a bit of Ultra 7, but like when it comes to Ultraman, I've really, that's probably the one I have the least knowledge of. So like my tokusatsu knowledge is very laser focused on Ishinomori.
Too bad.
Tiger Mask is a show that I really need to. I don't know if it has like a. I'd love to see with HD footage. Oh, I actually have seen the first episode of Zetsu. Because it actually premiered on YouTube. Which that is something I really think like Toei is. I feel like they're so behind on getting Kamen Rider like promoting it overseas compared to like Tsuburaya, where like Tsuburaya is putting out all these Ultraman series with English dubs, which makes sense because they're intended for children, so expecting them to read subtitles, yeah, that really narrows down your audience. But they Tsuburaya does dubs with Okatron 5000, so they have like Chris Sabat and a lot of those people in it.
That's cool.
They're very good dubs from what I've seen. Have you seen a lot of Gundam? I have seen a lot of Gundam. It would actually be easier for me to say the Gundams I haven't seen. I'm trying to think in chronological order. Like I've seen like I want to say I've seen every Tomino show. Like even like Wings of Rion I've seen. I haven't finished Double O. Chad and I were thinking about doing Double O, but then we dropped it. We might go back. We'll probably go back someday, but still haven't completed Double O. So Double O, Age, Iron-Blooded Orphans, the Build Fighter stuff.
Gundam. I don't think I retained much of it because it really just did not grab my interest. But seemed pretty neat.
Okay.
I actually hate it. I hate all of Gundam.
See, that makes you more interesting when you hate things.
See, exactly. It sparks conversation. It sparks revolution. I always wonder what Dragon Ball movies would have been like if they kept adapting arcs in movies, but with the original ideas like they did with the pre-Z movies.
Yeah, it's funny they had to stop doing that. It really just came out to be that, like, because I think the last movie where they did that is Mystical Great Adventure, where they adapt a lot in that movie. They combined because they combined Red Ribbon, World Tournament, and the Ten Shinhan saga. They combined all of those to make that movie. And that might be my favorite Dragon Ball movie. But yeah, you could tell that by the time they got to Z, they were like, "Oh wow, we never adapted like any of the Piccolo stuff in movies," so they just had to start making up original ideas.
What's interesting to me is that given the perspective that we have now, where like every video game is constantly going through the story of Dragon Ball from beginning to end, or
Raditz
Dragon Ball Z
Taboo.
from beginning to end. Yep. Uh, I, it kind of makes me think those kind of movies really aren't needed. It's we rehash that section of the story
And I kind of don't want to, obviously I don't want to be that person. So for years I've been trying to, re-experience things that I didn't like, see if I like them now, if I go in more open-minded. And yeah,
Can I pause this a second to just say, like, you having known you for like however 15, I don't know how many years, you did really change a lot in just how open-minded you became. Like, you got really closed off for a section there where you became kind of like, I wouldn't say elitist, but you were getting there. And then suddenly you were like reevaluating all of your preconceived notions and being like, let's rethink some of this stuff. And it's like amazing. You are one of the few people I know who's like capable of, I don't know, having a strong opinion yet still being willing to change it. It typically is either one of the extreme of one or the other. It's really awesome to see when you like reevaluate something like that.
Yeah, I think that and this is like stupid lizard brain thing, but like I think when you're young and dumb and full of cum, you think of, well, if I don't move on my opinion, that means it's stronger and better. And it's really not. I think it's actually a sign of a lack of intelligence if you can't understand where someone else is coming from, or you can't like sort of or if you're not willing to move at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's really it's really important, is to not be that person.
Yeah, you see so many people like that, and they're less visible, but like I said, there's also the opposite end of the spectrum where you kind of just don't end up not having any opinions because you're too malleable, which
Mm-hmm.
is what I'm trying to grow out of myself. So it's I think we found a good balance. We're finding a good balance, perhaps, is more accurate.
Lack of self-reflection. Oh, hello, I'm a racist caricature.
No, don't do it.
Oh no, I'm racist again.
Oh, you followed backwards.
I just like wearing the rice farmer hat. I'm sorry.
Supposed to learn to do that as a young adult, and a lot of people just don't. Yeah, I mean, it does admittedly get you very far. People love to listen to people with confidence, and with confidence is a sense of, well, I must be right. Either that or you're faking it till you make it, and usually when you fake something about yourself long enough, it just becomes real. Its value has, and a traditional skill set, it has become less and less important to me over the years, which is why, again, let me pull up my first page just so that I'm not like bullshitting you with this really cool looking artwork that I just finished. The first page of this very chapter is this, and it's not done with any amount of like, it's not putting any of my skill forward, it's not putting any of my knowledge forward, and it's not putting any of my my dexterity and how to like draw good line work forward. Its value comes from what I was feeling at the time to make it, and what kind of expression I want to put forward to the people reading it. It's very messy, it's very down to earth, it's very just like, I don't know, it feels like this kind of page could come from anyone who wants to make a good laugh, and that's the kind of vibe I wanted to get across with it. So it's not, none of this is about skill to me. It's about what I think best suits what I want to make right now. And maybe that's a good way to think about it. And I'm not 100% sure what kind of advice would suit you best right now, but genuinely, just don't get hung up about art skill. Like, you can improve if you think that'll make what you want to express easier to express, but I don't know. I have really strong opinions about what art means and specifically what it doesn't mean. So don't get me on that too much.
It kind of reminds me of when I used to make music, and the most backhanded compliment I'd get was, "This sounds like a real song."
Yeah, I hate that.
Yeah.
Like, I get what it means.
I know.
Though.
I know.
Like,
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, but it is. But yeah, another piece of advice that kind of helped me is thinking of the pros, the ones that inspire you, not as like the peak or whatever of what they are, but contemporaries who have just had more experience than you. I genuinely think it may seem arrogant a way of thinking about art, but it helps your process so much, because it really makes you rethink what you want to improve about your art, because you're like, okay, well, yeah, they're really good at making these images with a lot of depth, but do I want to make these same types of images, or do I want to tell the type of story they're telling? Because I am fully capable right now of doing either. I just need a little bit more experience. I can match them at either of those. Which one do I want to shoot for first? You know, it puts things in a better perspective, I think. So thinking of it as quote real, when it reaches a certain level of standard professionalism that is defined by unwritten rules in our cultural zeitgeist, it's it doesn't really help anyone, I don't think. My 2 cents. It's easy to adopt commercial mindsets of social media runoff, but if you're making art for other reasons, you don't have to worry about it. That's true. I never wanted to monetize my art in the first place, so that definitely helped my art journey personally. Like, I monetized other skills that I'm really good at, like my editing, but I specifically was like, I don't want to ruin art by making it commercialized, which it doesn't ruin it for a lot of people, so that's fine. But One Piece remake coming out anyways, if you want to watch it. Yeah. I don't know when that's coming out, though. It could be another 8 years for all I know. They never have made any update towards that.
It's going to be awesome now that One Piece is switching to a seasonal schedule, because on Mal, they're going to have to mark One Piece Season 1 as 1,150 episodes. Yeah. And then Season 2, 26 episodes.
It'll be a really great jumping on point, too. It's like, just start with Season 2.
Yeah, just start with Season 2. A lot of them had to be retire. Yeah. Mihawk died, R.I.P.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about like what would happen in live action where they're physically like visibly aging, and I just imagine like, well, they didn't really care about the Stranger Things kids who are like 30 now, so. Yeah.
Yeah. That too. Like, I think that's why they specifically put in the trailer, the teaser trailer, or whatever it was, to hype it up. They put at the end, also working on season 3, because they knew that was going to be like such an issue with people.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, we're never going to get this, are we?
It's funny.
No, I think it's hopefully it makes it easier that they're working on 2 seasons at once for the aging issue.
I'll never forget the day the live action came out. Not because it blew my mind or anything, but because that was the day after my tonsil surgery, and I was in like the worst pain. I was in like the worst pain ever, and I remember trying to watch the first. I remember trying to watch the first episode and being like, I actually need to not watch this.
Yeah. I totally get like what your mindset probably was at that point, because whenever I'm having some sort of pain, I do not. I just sit there in silence with it, and I'm like, man, I want to watch videos, so I don't have to sit there in silence with it. But then I just end up hating the videos because they're associated with the pain.
I don't want to associate this thing I like with this horrible pain.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It sucks. So you're just basically doing nothing. Either that, or you can watch stuff you hate, so that you don't have to worry about making it.
You want to know what's funny? And this might recontextualize my opinions on it, but I did watch a ton of Bleach when I had my tonsils out.
What part of Bleach though?
Soul Society.
Yeah.
That was the arc where I was like, this is overrated. I hate this. In my defense, I think that my criticisms still hold up. Despite
but they may not have been such a drastic scale.
Yeah, if I wasn't in agonizing pain. And also starving. Because
yeah, you can eat. Yeah.
Oh my god, I bought a Firehouse sub sandwich because I was so hungry, and then I like took 2 bites of it and started crying because I couldn't eat it.
Oh no.
Because I don't know if you guys know, when you get your tonsils taken out, you basically have scars all around your throat. So that's why they tell you eat ice cream, which I was eating ice cream, but like you don't feel satisfied when you're eating nothing but ice cream and popsicles. So like I would be like, you know what? Fuck the pain. I'm just gonna eat something, and then I try eating it, and it would be so painful I'd start to cry.
That sucks. I had a mouth surgery myself, and I just didn't even bother trying to eat. And you know how much I love eating. So
yeah.
It was a choice. It was a hard choice, but it was one that had to be made. I do want to see if an OG Yu-Gi-Oh get a remake. I honestly do too. Like, I think it would be interesting to see, because season 0, first of all, looks bad.
Do garbage, yeah.
It doesn't match the manga really, because even though they had the whole dedicated Yu-Gi-Oh Duelist section, they did ultimately focus on the card games for the season 0 stuff as well. So it'd be really interesting to just see an unadulterated adaptation of the first.
Yeah, like those early stories, and then they can end it with like Death Tea. I think
was just like halfway through it. The end was the tabletop RPG with Bakura.
Oh right, yeah, okay. With Zork,
which they just changed to a duel out of nowhere in the middle of that. What is Tournament Island? What's it called?
Duelist Kingdom.
Yeah, that's it. Tournament Island is what it should have been.
Tournament Island.
John, what's your thoughts on the reboot High School Kimengumi, which I just want to know because honestly, I never talked to any English speaker who knows the series.
So I mean, I've known about High School Kimengumi for a good. I mean, I think I found the creditless opening in like 2015 and posted it on my alt channel because I was like, oh man, someone should put this on YouTube. I had known about the show a little bit before that, but it had never had subtitles. So I know Inca Subs did one episode as a gag, and they were like, ha 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 ha, we did an episode, we'll never do it again. They had said that a combination of the show being so long, 86 episodes, and also being so pun focused, they were like, it's just not worth the time, which I understand.
Yeah,
but this year, Remao, God bless Remao, they started releasing High School Kimengumi and Kochikame subtitled, and you can tell that they have, because they do have to put like translators notes for a lot of the puns, but regardless, they are putting it out live. So I've been super happy because this is a show I've wanted to see for a while, and I'm finally getting a chance to watch it. I've
seen you watching it.
Yep. I can confirm. Ben can confirm. I have watched it.
Yeah, he's not lying, everyone, for once.
But I'm 26 episodes in right now, and I am enjoying it. For the remake, I am curious because a lot of the jokes in the show, it can be pretty referential, but it's very referential to the Showa era. Like, I swear to Christ, they reference Ashita no Joe in every episode. They have an episode where a guy turns into a were-Joe, where he, at the full moon, he becomes Joe Yabuki and punches people. There's so many Ashita no Joe references. There's Star of the Giants references. There's, Kamen Rider, like specifically Showa era Kamen Rider references. So a lot of the humor is so focused on the Showa era, and it seems like for this new series, because I think the trailer had Yui had a cell phone, so it's probably going to take the route of new Urusei Yatsura, where it's set in the modern day, compared to like Ranma, where they set it in the 80s. So it seems like it's going to be set in present day, and I wonder if it's going to be referential to modern Shonen Jump titles, because Kimengumi is a Jump title. I wonder if it'll, or I guess like Star of the Giants and Ashita no Joe aren't Jump titles. It was always just like whatever is the popular thing from that era. So I do wonder. There's also a character who is like trans, and I had known that was a part of that show, but it was in the 80s, so obviously it's not as it's not portrayed as we would portray something like that nowadays. And I only got to the episode that goes into that character more recently. It's I want to say it's Jin Daima. Let me make sure that's the right one. No, it's not Jin Daima. Who is it? Oh my god. I'm not checking the chat, so don't answer. Oh, it's Dai. It's see, that's how I got confused, because Daima, but it's Dai. Dai Monohoshi. But yeah, they had an episode where they kind of joke about him being gay, but it's mostly just done for gags, so I wasn't sure if that was going to be something where it's like integral to his character. But I've gotten far enough in that they've actually done like a dedicated episode about him, and they've like made enough jokes where it's like it's clear that he is gay, and but he also, and obviously it's the 80s, so they didn't have like the vocabulary to describe this, or the, it's not done very eloquently, but he seems to he likes to dress up as a girl and wear women's clothing, and he's into men. So it seems like through a modern lens, they'd probably make him trans, and I'm curious how they handle that, but I do think that's how they're probably going to go about it. I think he's even cross-dressing like in the trailer. So that I'm curious how they handle that. I'm curious how they handle the show being so referential to the Showa era when it's going to be now set in the Reiwa era. Another thing is that the characters in the Kimengumi, they mentioned that they've been left back many times. So like they do bring up that some of them are 20, and so they do gags where they are drinking. And I wonder if that will be an issue. Like maybe they won't want to show these characters, even though they're canonically like of age. Maybe because they're in high school, they wouldn't want to show them drinking. I've been thinking about how like both Ranma and Yaiba have like toned down the content from their manga in their new adaptations. Even though their new adaptations are generally accurate, they've still toned things down. Yaiba both removed fan service and scenes of Onimaru killing animals. So like it's I don't know if really animals, but I know for certain in the manga when he first becomes like a demon, he like sacrifices a frog, and he just like stabs a frog on an altar, and that is completely removed from the new anime. So they're definitely like removing things that they don't think will play well to modern audiences. So it's interesting. I don't know. I think that the voice actor, it's actually the voice actor, I forget his name. Is it Seki? the guy that voices Domon Kashi was voicing Rei, and his voice, he sounds just like Shigeru Chiba. It's actually insane. I thought it was him. I thought it was Shigeru Chiba. And I know that some people have complained that Shigeru Chiba the Western market, not as much as people think. I've always told
Oh, yeah?
people, there's a lot of people that act like, oh, they're trying to make anime more Western because they know America's the biggest market for anime. And while America is a very big market, we're still only the 4th or 5th biggest. The biggest market for anime is still Japan. They are still catering to a primarily Japanese audience. And the 2nd biggest market for anime is China, and they're definitely not catering to a Chinese market.
That is true. Although I do think censorship is kind of, there is a detachment of censorship goals versus artistic goals.
That's the thing, is that when I watch Yaiba, and like I said, they remove a lot of fan service and like stuff that they thought was too violent from the manga, but that doesn't feel like censorship. It doesn't feel like the studio came and said, oh, you can't show Onimaru stabbing a frog. It felt like the creators were like, oh, that wouldn't fit with the tone we're going for.
Okay, you know what? That is fair. Like, that does make sense. Like, especially because, like, you know, there is a change in every culture as time goes forward, and it's like maybe it wouldn't have seemed so gruesome and dragged the tone down to a darker place.
There was
in the past.
I follow a lot of Japanese people on Twitter, and there was actually a hashtag going around recently. It was called like reckless images of the Showa era, and it was just people posting clips of things from tokusatsu, anime, manga that were like normal in the Showa era, and going, you'd never get this today. Like tokusatsu, where the stuntman do like stunts that would kill them, like like that.
Yeah.
It's like they'd never do that to a stuntman today. Stuff like in manga, I think there was a character from Captain Tsubasa. I've never read Captain Tsubasa, so this is just going off my memory, but there's a character in Captain Tsubasa who's like, his whole thing is that he's a drunk, I think he's like a drunk coach, and he's always like walking around the field with a sake bottle, and they were like, yeah, that wouldn't fly today.
Yeah, standards just change a lot. I mean, it's a very common phrase when talking about media for us, where it's just like, oh, they couldn't say that today, you know.
They have to censor every episode of Star of the Giants because they say Kichi guy, or as we call it, the iCarly slur.
I hate you can't criticize anything sexual in anime because people would call you a tourist and blah blah blah. Even though sometimes it doesn't fit the work. Sometimes it doesn't fit the work. Other times people, sex is such a tricky topic with so many people. It's always gonna get negative attention and people misunderstanding what the problem with.
Because there's two real camps. There's you can make a genuine argument of like, oh, I didn't think this was appropriate here, but a lot of it is, oh my god, is this Diddy blooding? And this is just going by Twitter, which is a cesspool.
The vast amount of people like just saying no to anything to do with sex makes any valid critique of this sexy thing didn't need to fit here. It gets drowned out, and you kind of get lumped in with people you don't agree with. So I totally get like the frustration there, but it kind of just means it's just like, okay, don't talk about that to the masses, I guess, is the conclusion I came to, because I only go on Twitter to see artworks now. I literally block or just scroll past it. Don't even give it a second glance, because Twitter can tell how long you're looking at a post, just to make sure that all the extra stuff stays off my timeline. But overall, I'm just like, I can talk to friends about this stuff. I mean, maybe people don't have as many friends as me, which is unfortunate, but it's just like, don't tell thousands of people who don't know the depth of you as a person or are capable of conversing with you beyond 480 characters or however long, 280 characters, yeah.